What's going on, guys? So today we're doing a Shoky Nerdcast 1On1 here, actually in the Shoky Cave for the first time since the very first one, which was the trial run with Nick.
Huh.
And we have my buddy Eric.
How's it going, guys?
You guys should know him from multiple times on the channel, showing off his builds and stuff like that. And you were on at least one live stream with me.
Yes.
We did a live stream build day.
Yes.
That was fun. Which is sort of how we run this today. So, like I said, we're going to do a Nerdcast 1On1, but first and foremost, we have Star Screams. Let's go ahead and point it out. That one you can't see because it's on the table, but check it out. It's a big one. Tell the people what it is because I don't know.
It's the 30th anniversary toy from God knows who.
But it's Hasbro for sure.
Yes.
It's actually Hasbro. The Cisco right there.
There you go.
Made in China.
But,
yes.
Yeah.
But so this is the 30th anniversary of the... it's that same mold from Cybertron. So it's a Cybertron mold, but this one is done in the G1 colors. Even comes with a big old crown, which actually is really nicely done. And it would light up and do things, but it does not have batteries and such. This one's actually pretty cool. So, because this person is a Starscream fanatic, he's got both the regular one and the anniversary edition, which is, we missed a few spots while dusting. Oh well. What we're not going to do is try to transform them.
No, because simply...
Because that's why there's one in robot mode and one in that. But it's actually pretty cool. I've actually never seen this one in person. I dig it. I mean, I've seen reviews of it and stuff.
I've never even seen a review of it.
No. Now, what's really funny is like it looks like it was fan painted to some degree.
Yeah.
But also this was like from what, 2002, 2003?
Give or take, yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I wonder if it's back here. 2004.
I got it a couple of years ago, so...
We were close. But it's pretty cool. I mean, it's huge. I mean, dude, the ratchet just and the legs are ridiculous. Now, this is not going to be a review type deal by any means, but we have these here, so we might as well show them off. It's pretty cool. Like I said, we're not going to transform them in any way, so that's why you got one of each.
Yeah.
It's like, at first I thought one of them was a custom paint job, though.
Which one?
I thought this one was.
Ah.
But it's also the fact that they are old. So the paint is just what it is. But these are big toys. They're not like super collector items.
They were both given to me by someone in my past. Very special person. But... yeah.
Now I know what I'm going to ask you about.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They are very dear to me because they are Starscream. Yes, I know. They have stubby arms.
It's the best. Because even when they're up, it's like this.
Yeah. Little T-Rex arms.
That's so funny. The head sculpt is actually very good. Yes. I was going to say that. No, he looks bald. He looks better with the crown. I mean, the paint's worn a little bit, but it's old. And
it's old.
It presumably belonged to another child. I'm just going ahead and just calling you a child outright. If you're cool. Hold on, I want to get...
No, this one was actually brand new in box.
Really?
Yes.
That doesn't want to let go.
What is?
I was trying to flip out the nose cones for the feet, but yeah, it's bending too much. No, stop. It scares me. So, I was just going to give him super pointy, like Gundam feet, but as soon as it decided to not go, I said nope. Wait, have you actually transformed them?
Not that one.
Okay, but that one you have.
Yes.
So this guy is basically fresh out of box. He's just always been in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you don't have a cyber key, so we can't activate those
those. I do not have a cyber key.
No.
I know. I put it up somewhere so well that I don't know where it's at.
Oh, yeah, the other thing is you don't have them totally flamboyant. So you have a sword on this side, cannon on this side, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does I forgot where the cyber key plugs in.
It's
on the arm somewhere. Maybe it's not the front.
I think it's just...
oh, it's right here. It's right here. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's hard. You just push something in there.
Well, then you got something to push it with?
Of course you would challenge me. Oh, I know what I had to do it with, and now I don't have anything to do it with. Oh, let's just...
Oh, this one's missing the cannon.
Because all it is just a simple
lock
or spring switch right here. My question is, which way does it flip? It goes that way. Okay. Ah, so close. So close. Come on. It's hung up on something, I think. Yeah. There you go. So you don't actually need the key. You just need something you can... Because most of the time it's just a flat blade for the most part, so... Oh, I can't see.
Looks like I had it somewhere.
God, that scared me. Okay, so I think this one is missing the... Because this one was a flat dinghy on a spring. So I can push that. Or this one is just not... Okay, so this one pries, that one does it that way. Either way, so that's his first time actually seeing that. So there's his weapons.
Yes, they snap.
I know that's a hell of a ratchet, but it scared me. Oh, God. That's pretty cool, though. And normally it would have a light-up gimmick and stuff like that. And you do have the...
Huh.
We're discovering things he'd never even known about his own toy. Well, there you go. Now you know. And always have to battle. G.I. Joe. Sorry, just move him out of the way because it's just going to be on camera. This one can live here and be like our mascot for today.
Go for it.
Cute little screamer. Alright, so I first met you, what, last New Year's Eve? Was it? Yeah, at the competition at...
Mitchell's.
Yeah, at the E-Sig Vapor Lounge. Yeah, so I mean, we've known each other just barely under a year.
Under a year, yeah.
So it seems like so much longer, doesn't it?
It really does.
Because you've been on the channel, what, like 5 times? So different showcases,
yeah.
Different showcases, the swaps.
The review for the Providence.
Yeah.
And now this.
Yeah, so at least 5 times.
And live stream.
And live stream. So yeah, you've been around. And in my vlogs. At Hobbytown.
Ah. Yes. Yes, I have.
So we've seen this lovely face.
Several times.
But his hair is not fixed today, though. He's going with the hat. I don't blame you. It's a bad hair day.
It is.
If I didn't shower after work, you wouldn't want to see.
My hair's that... Because when you met me, I had long hair.
Yes, and you had it all nice and...
Yeah.
And then you cut it all off, and then it was nice and sleek. And now you're in an in-between state, aren't you?
That's why the hat.
This is the kind of stuff we're talking about here. Haircuts.
It's either the hat or a beanie.
We're in beanie weather.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but you wanted to wear your WoW hat.
WoW hat.
Wow.
Really?
Had to. Come on, you should know me by now. And the only real reason we're allowed to do this is because his lovely woman is here keeping mine entertained in the other room.
Yes. She is.
They're so cute.
As long as they're busy.
Yeah, it's like basically it's the way to get permission for him to get to come and hang out is you have to bring her. Otherwise, it's like mine. It's like not that she doesn't like him. It's just that she doesn't want to be bored in the living room while we record, which is usually what happens. So last week when I was in here doing this with Joey wasn't here with me, but I was in here for like 5.5 hours, and she was sitting out there by herself. It happens.
Yeah, it does.
Won't be 5.5 hours this time.
Good.
Well, we also started at 2 in the afternoon, not 8 at night.
That's true.
So, big difference. So, we're both driven by the fact it's been a long day. Yes. So, we're going to get through this as best we can. But, give the people a nice little rundown on you. Let them know what you do, who you is, because some of them probably have no clue, because I've got a lot of new subs this year.
Like I said, definitely, my name's Eric. I'm from Mexico. Obviously, I don't know if you can tell, but the face says it.
Mexico.
Yeah. What I do, I build forklifts for a living. Quite literally, the rear axle, I can take it down, put it up, take it apart, put it back in.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely. But when you have a 900 to 1,000 pound axle fall on your leg,
well,
that sucks.
Yeah, I've only had several 100-pound things fall on me, not 1,000.
Luckily, I moved away.
Yeah.
Hit me on the leg, didn't break anything.
Just
but
sort of bounced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was off for a week with pay. So. Hey.
Well, I did have a similar problem at work one time. We were unloading a truck. Dude got back and needed help unloading a heavy box. It was about 120 pounds. What we didn't know is it was a huge, heavy chunk of pipe. And they put it in a cardboard box. You can see where this is going.
Yeah.
So it falls out the bottom of the box, bounces off my shin, lands on his foot.
Bloody hell.
Broke his foot, just like bruised the hell out of my shin. I went down, but I got right back up. But that hurt. So basically, it just boom, and so it hit me, then landed on him. So it's not a 1,000-pound thing, but it could have still broke my leg.
Mine was on the crane that got caught with 2 other axles.
Yeah.
And so it tipped forward, then tipped back.
Yeah.
And when it tipped back, I let go of everything.
Yeah, you get the hell out of the way. I bet you can, yeah.
Luckily, it only grazed my leg, but enough to where it actually had to go get...
You had to go check it out, yeah.
But if I didn't move fast enough, it would have crushed my feet.
Yeah, so it was
like steel toe.
So it was like overhead cranes, but you're pulling it up, and then it got hung on something else and just went clonk.
Yep.
Yeah.
No steel toe would have helped that.
No, that would have taken your toes off.
Yeah.
Guys, people tout steel toes for keeping you safe on the job site until something heavy falls on it. Then you lose your toes.
Then you lose toes.
Because it's a guillotine.
Yes,
or if a heavy equipment rolls over your foot because they're being careless.
Your toes are
you don't worry about your toes. You don't need those anymore.
Yeah. They're gone.
But it's clean cut. They might be able to put them back on. Industrial accidents. That's our topic today. Let's talk industrial accidents. No, I'm just kidding.
So...
It makes my shin hurt just talking about it.
Dude, my whole
leg.
My thigh had a bump. God knows what size, but it was just purple as purple can be. And I couldn't move for like a good week.
Yeah. But luckily nothing broke.
Yeah, luckily nothing broke.
So it's just a giant bruise.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. So.
Definitely overgone toes. Definitely.
Yeah. Or shattered knee, or
anything else.
Leg bending the wrong direction. Any of that. Yeah, let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, I'll try not to.
Okay. Good.
Let's see, what else?
Model builder extraordinaire.
Not extraordinaire. I would say I'm still in the intermediate advanced area.
You're high intermediate. That's where you've placed in my contest, at least. So you're on the high level. You are what I would call what will be coming up in my next contest as a hot shot.
Ooh.
So the in between, too high to be in intermediate and not quite advanced. So the hot shots.
Cool.
So that will be a new guys. Little bit of interim thing here for the next contest. There will be a hot shots level because that's where Thomas would have fallen with his lupus.
Okay.
Because he wasn't good enough for advanced, but way outclassed the intermediates.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like there has to be something in between, and because it's usually the outliers who are doing that, that's where they get the hotshot class. So yay! Cool. I'm gonna have way too many classes in that contest.
That sounds fun.
I think 5 technical classes, but one's an exhibition class. So I mean, you know the contest is coming. We've talked about it, and you're excited, and you're going to be the example of what not to do. I'm going to allow you to be the first to build, but you get to be the example of what not to do.
Guys, don't do this.
Yes, that's exactly right. I look forward to it. Either way, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But anything else? I mean, we're obviously going to talk. You don't have anything to tout. You don't have a YouTube or anything like that.
So
you're a non-YouTube personality.
I am a non-YouTube personality.
Except on my channel.
Yeah.
People like you. People love your work.
Hey, that's good.
Dude, I mean, look how many, your Fenice is one of the like people love that thing.
I know, and it's like weird because it's the first bloody thing I ever done.
Yeah, the first full paint job and stuff, right? Yeah. So, and then you've stuck in that groove for quite some time. I hate people who are so good at shit right off the bat. But you used to paint cars.
Yes.
So in your defense, you know how to level paint and how
mix and all that
accents and stuff like that. So. I think my favorite thing you've ever done was your Liger Jaeger.
I agree. I completely miss that thing.
Your Jaeger-thon.
Yeah. I miss it, but when I took it home with a good friend, I do not regret that.
It's not like you went far.
No.
Not technically. It's like you can visit it. Technically. You just hit up Dion and go visit your Liger. I still want to build one.
Do it.
I think that was hard as fuck to get.
I can actually maybe hook you up with something.
Well, then there's the idea of money.
Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. But...
Yeah. Fair enough. And you are working on several other customs at the moment that we won't give away.
One for an upcoming build, the 17th?
Yeah. So there's you're trying to at least get something totally wrapped up if you haven't yet for the Houston Grand Prix.
Houston Grand Prix.
And which I may or may not be competing in, depending on if they allow that kit to go in. Which I don't see why they wouldn't, but Or I have to do a 2-week thrash to finish something. Or if I could get, there's no way I could get my other big build done in time.
No, not in the 2 weeks.
If I had nothing else to do,
maybe.
But that'd be so much scratch. But either way, I love alluding to things that they've never seen, that other people have.
Yes.
But that I look forward to finishing that someday.
I agree. I look to it too.
Yes, you look forward to seeing it.
Pretty nice.
And then what about your kit bash you were working on?
Well, it is for the Grand Prix.
That one?
Yes.
But is that your quote unquote scrapyard?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is technically 2.
Okay, because you referred to it as something before, and now you're referring it to something different now.
Yeah,
That's why I was confused. I thought it was a different build.
Yeah.
Either way, I can't wait to see that because I know what you were doing with it, so I want to see it now. Huh?
You did? I haven't told anybody about it.
Then we're not talking about the same thing. I'm talking about your
The Fenicia custom?
No, the other with the Epion.
Yes, it's okay. We're oh no. Okay, now again.
You changed something.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the build I'm making for the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Is strictly Gunpla.
Okay. Oh, you're using the other scraps from that stuff. Okay, you alluded to that before, and I'm trying to give it. Although this isn't going to come out until God knows when. But I can edit things. So. Okay, yeah, so you used your parts that you needed from that, and you told me you were using it to build something else.
Something else, which I'm still doing.
So you're doing what I did with my custom double O's.
Yes.
So I took stuff from Strike and double O to make one, and then I used the scraps to go the other way.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so, okay. Cool. I really can't wait to see it now. Now, originally when you said a junkyard build, I was thinking something different. Like, I was thinking, like, you actually, like, have, like, bits, pieces, and you actually weathered it to look like something built in a scrapyard. Gotcha. That would be a great idea.
I do have an idea about that.
Okay.
I just need to get the right kits for it.
Okay. And you have a color scheme already done?
Yes.
Okay, because I know that's your one thing you have a problem with.
I have problems with.
Is it black and gold?
No, it is not black and gold or red. I'm actually
or yellow.
I'm trying to stay away from my usual colors.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, did you see the GNXS?
Yes.
Actually in person?
Not in person.
Yeah. Isn't it pretty? Isn't that not bad for a 2-day build?
I agree. I like it.
That could also be a thing I could enter just for the hell of it. Not gonna win anything, but I mean,
you never know.
Creativity. Could you notice that I painted that in outside in the cold, in humidity?
A little bit, yes.
Oh, shut up! Such a dick. That's pretty good paint. Otherwise,
yeah,
except for the feet on it, I had to paint racing white over yellow. That's why it's so heavy.
Racing white over yellow.
Yeah. Because the legs were entirely yellow. So I had to break it up, and I wasn't going to strip the feet down just to repaint them, so I was in a hurry. You got to remember, I was doing double October in less than 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
So that was a 2-day build. I'm proud of it.
Gotcha. Looks legit.
Yeah, thank you. But we're not here to talk exclusively Gundam, because we're both more than that, though we do like to be typecast quite often.
Sadly, we are.
And that's one thing that people, at least on my channel, have definitely made that mistake, saying, "Oh, he's a Gunpla nerd." Well, I like Gunpla, and I definitely have an affinity for it, but there's way more to me. Yeah. Like, at some point, I'm going to have, like, a 2-sided room. It's going to be all Gundams on one side and all my other stuff on the other side, and I'll just sit, like, just flip the camera. It'd be so narrow in here, it'd be ridiculous. Like, it really would. Imagine if I had details all like, oh, the other thing you were in was a skit.
Yes.
That was the other thing you were involved in, because you were the guy who just kind of snuck in the middle of the argument. If you guys remember, he was the tall one.
Yeah, because
everybody else was short. Yeah, no, that was odd. I need to do more skits. They're so fun.
They are. Random.
That was a long damn day, too.
Yeah, it was.
Nobody knows. Like, if we had more behind-the-scenes footage, that would have been funny. Of course, every camera I owned was being used to film it.
There's a whole lot of things that, if the behind-the-scenes...
Tommy was the best.
Yeah.
Tommy was the best in that because he had the shortest roll out of anybody.
But
his enthusiasm was so on point. That was the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. That was, yeah, no, I've got one skit idea that I'm bouncing around right now, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet.
Gotcha.
But the best one I loved was the announcement for the other contest skit, where there was 3 of me.
Yeah, I remember seeing that one.
Yeah, don't forget, you can put your drink on this table.
Okay, thanks.
Can't put it on that table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the half round table here for interviewing purposes, because it's what I could pull off in less than an hour of cleaning.
Fair enough.
Yes. That's what happens when you take a nap in the middle of the day instead of taking
I don't
care of
blame
shit.
you.
We were so tired, dude. And then we had a huge breakfast lunch. God.
Look, I had to work.
Yep.
Today, getting home from work, I had to help my dad with mechanical problems. That's always fun.
Hopefully not a seized engine.
No.
You've had enough of those.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now I have a truck.
Do you ever miss your Nissan?
Honda.
Well, so who had a Nissan?
Honda.
Who had a Nissan?
Not me.
Okay.
But yes, I do miss it. Mainly because of the gas.
Nick had the Nissan. The one that got flooded out.
Gas.
I just get my brown people mixed up.
Wow.
But that's such a joke between me and Nick though, because
Don't
he's lightish brown,
Ah.
being from the island. That's how I just joke about that. But then again, I can never do one of these with David
Why is that?
because we cut up and make way too many jokes that should not be on the internet. That was so recorded. You know what's real smart? Make sure you hit autofocus when your hand is directly in front of the camera. So it's trying to focus on your hand instead of everything else. Yeah. All right, so you guys should know how this works by now. He barely knows because I didn't prime him worth a damn.
I have no idea.
So even better. So let's do the motto because I always forget to do the fucking motto. So Nerdcast motto is: you don't have to be a nerd for everything, but everyone is a nerd for something.
Yes.
Like this person, he is definitely
a nerd for a lot of things.
And so,
different things.
And like I said, we tend to be seen as the thing that we represent the most.
Which will be...
Which is sometimes always just the surface.
Yes.
And that can be problematic. But if you, especially if we're in a community like we are with the Gundam Club and stuff like that, then it's like, oh hey, this is all you love. But then it's like half the time when we're at a meeting, we're not even talking about Gundams.
Else, yeah.
It's like I mean,
we're building and stuff, but we're talking about X show, X game. Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys should know the format by now. 2 questions each. Personal question first, then a topic question, and then we'll round it out with an overall topic at the end. And, of course, the guest gets to go first to put them on the spot, which is always fun.
Thank you.
Yes. And so he has to now come up with something for me. And you should scooch this way just a little. There you go. You look shorter than me because of the weird depth.
Yeah.
Or I'm just fat. I'm fatter than Eric, guys.
No, you are not.
You're taller.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, if you were my height,
it'd be bad.
It'd be bad. But that's not the question. Okay, so go ahead. Throw anything at me personally you want to know. As long as it's not a favorites question.
Of course not.
And if you bring up something that's already been brought up, I will correct you and edit it out.
Lovely.
Because I had to do it with Joey.
So, personal question, it cannot be a favorite or cannot be something that's been asked before.
Those are the rules, yes.
Lovely.
You said that. I'm going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs.
Don't you dare play with that. Damn.
One of his favorite thing in my room is this drill.
Hey, bro. It is.
His favorites. Buy one, dude. $70. Just buy one.
I have to buy the store screen.
Oh, which, by the way, I'm going to get the Robot Spirits Gurmag gun.
All right. Let's see.
Okay.
Personal question.
Yes.
Okay. So, in our years, we've collected X thing, throughout so many years.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you miss, one thing that you wish they would still make, that you could collect.
Oh, it's a little bit different. That almost fits in as a secondary question, but I'll count it because it's a little bit more towards me. Well, we were mentioning Micro Machines earlier, because I grew up on those in the 90s. And those were a lot of fun. Because you remember the old ones? They were like more cartoonish. They weren't like very specific.
Yeah.
And then they started getting hardcore into them. And then you got the play sets.
Yeah.
So like you could buy like a ton of the Micro Machine jets, and then you would have an aircraft carrier to play with them on. Because it was basically shrunk down G.I. Joes at that point. And oddly enough, Micro Machines have been coming back.
Really?
Yeah, but not in the same way that we had them. At least not alongside them. Because one thing I definitely had was the Star Wars and Star Trek Micro Machines, the ships. I had a ton of those. In fact, I have one left. I have the Defiant.
Nice.
It's on my nightstand right now. I will go show you. It's on my nightstand. It's my most favorite thing ever. I played with it forever. And when I say forever, like through my life, not as a kid. Like, it was still, like, I'm sorry, if you're too macho or whatever in your life to admit that you play with your toys, even as an adult, you're a liar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Everybody does.
Everyone does it.
Because my buddy Matthew Deluxe Baldwin, and his reviews, he ends them with floor time. So he actually gets on the floor and is playing with the thing he just reviewed. Like smashing them together with other stuff. It's so much fun, actually being a kid again. But like, I think along those lines, those were a ton of fun. But there's so many older toy lines that I had growing up and stuff like that that either just sort of disappeared. I'm trying to narrow something down. Something that desperately needs to come back, and is super expensive if you want to buy the originals now. Exo Squad toys.
Oh God, I remember those.
Those were so much fun.
Yep.
So you had a 3 3/4 action figure. So your G.I. Joes and stuff would totally work. You got a mech that can shoot missiles, sometimes transform to some degree.
Yeah.
Or I think one of them had a walking gimmick, like the big one had a walking gimmick. And they never did them again. Actually, remember, they had a transforming line at some point where they actually did transform into other things. Because JTs or TJ turned into a motorcycle for some fucking reason. But because mid-90s, you gotta have
stuff happened.
And they never did it in the series by any means, but they had to keep the toy line going with minor remolds and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that might have been Hasbro. It might have been. I'd have to look it up, and I can't look it up.
I want to say it was Hasbro.
All my devices for looking things up are being used to record right now. So, but I would love that, because Exo Squad was a fun show. Actually, we've talked about it before on a previous Nerdcast. On the 90s Cartoon Nerdcast, we talked about Exo Squad briefly. And I just listened to that the other day to kill time at work, so... but I would love that. That would be great if those came back. Because look at modern molding and painting techniques.
Yeah.
They'd be great. I mean, even if they released their classic line that was the old ones, but imagine model kits for those.
With new material or new molds, per se.
Yeah. But like new technologies.
Yeah.
But those would be fun. I mean, I think a lot of these reboot series, there's certain ones that do need to come back with modern aesthetics and stuff. I think that would be a good one.
Agreed, definitely.
But it's got like a cult following. And I had.
I mean, what thing doesn't now?
True, but I mean, like, not everybody saw it. It wasn't on every channel. Even in syndication,
right.
It was on only like one channel ever growing up. And the toys were out there, but those sold whether you saw the show or not. The cross playability, swapping out pilots and everything like that. The details were always nice. And I think I had 5 of them. And my buddy had a couple of ones I didn't, so we'd have the cross playability.
I probably had, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 at max.
Yeah.
Mainly because, obviously, back in Mexico, I personally grew up with more of the anime aspect, per se.
Okay.
Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, stuff like that. So those were the go-to toys. Besides your little wrestlers that you saw every day.
Of course.
But, yeah, definitely.
Your luchadores.
My luchadores. Yes, sir. Santo.
Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's a different world. But that would be something I would definitely bring back. But now you got me thinking about micro machines, and I kind of want old school micro machines.
I do too.
But now, you know why they can't do them now? Because people are stupid and will swallow them more than they used to.
Yeah, it'd be a challenge.
Yeah, the micro machine challenge.
How many can you swallow?
How many can go in your nose?
God.
I think that is why they started making them less micro. Because remember they had like the super tiny, they had the ones that would fit inside other little ones. Yeah. I had one that was like I think it was a van. It was like a monster truck minivan, and it would flip open, and there were two smaller ones. Wow. So one almost like a Russian nesting dolls for. Nice. So there was it was a bigger one, and then there was a true micro machine one, and then inside it was a super tiny. It was legit. I shit you not. That big. It was red. It was red, tiny, and had black wheels. Tiny ones. And it was like. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was red. But that, you couldn't sell that nowadays. Yeah. Like, because they've gotten to the point that a child's safety is more important than their imagination.
Yeah, it really is.
Which is why kids have helmets now.
Yeah, I mean, we grew up.
Hold on, I got to think about that statement I just.
Okay, like, I just got it too.
Protect their head. Never mind. Kids nowadays actually. This was a discussion I definitely have with somebody. How kids don't use their imaginations anymore because they're mostly playing on their electronic devices,
tablets, phones, etc.
And the younger kids do get toys that have gimmicks and stuff like that, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but you're
still using a toy.
Yeah, but you get the kids who still can't put the fucking phone down, or the tablet down, or get off their computer or their game console, which. Gaming is what it is. Obviously, you're a gamer. You get it, but
even then, it's like we grew up in a whole different way. We went outside till the lights came on.
Yeah. Kids
nowadays, sadly, they can't. If they do, it's seldom here and there.
Yeah. I grew up. Originally, I grew up in the suburbs, and then we moved to the country. So I grew up playing across the street from my best friend, and you could just walk over, no problem, because it was just across the street down the sidewalk, no problem. And there were street lights everywhere for the most part, except for some reason I remember a cul-de-sac being incredibly dark most of the time. Like actually, we were before the cul-de-sac. Okay. But the cul-de-sac I remember being very dark. Yeah, but that may have been a kid's perspective. Okay. You know how they just see unfamiliar things that way. But I remember that. But then moving out to the country, and then of course having to make new friends and stuff like that, our neighborhood was a bit spread out. So my best friend lived in the same neighborhood, but half a mile away down the road, and I couldn't just pop over to go see him. But then again, I also made best friends with the guy across the street, and it was a little while until I actually could go over there because I was 6 when we moved. So took a little bit longer. Of course. Plus, also the difference of being able to go ride your bike in a yard because it's huge. You now have acreage to ride around on instead of the sidewalks of a suburb neighborhood. But you're right. It's not the world we grew up in. It's way worse. Yeah. Because you do have to worry about way more with your kids now. And I don't know, it just sucks. This is why I've often said if I win enough money, I'm going to start a colony and raise kids like it's the 80s, 80s and 90s again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, me myself, growing up in Mexico, in our little, I lived in a city. Okay. In a pueblo.
That's fine.
But the whole neighborhood knew each other. There would be days where we would close the streets and just everybody hang out outside. Yeah. We used to play jump rope with actual rope, not the little skinny one, but it was a thick one. Yeah. So, God forbid you got hit.
What are jump ropes made out of now?
Nylon?
I think it's nylon.
Yeah,
plastic?
I think it's nylon.
No, it was a rope back in the day.
Yeah, it was rope.
Yeah.
Thick rope that, God forbid you got hit because you went flying and then you got a welt on your leg. But that was fun.
Better than an axle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. Anything better than a bloody axle.
You're playing jump axle that day.
But yeah, I mean...
Sorry. I was growing up in Mexico, we used to play jump axle because we couldn't afford rope.
Wow.
But there were plenty of junk axles around. Wow, that's horribly stereotypical. I'm sorry.
It wouldn't be wrong, though. Yeah. Because, you have that one neighbor that has a mechanic shop in his yard.
That's how my parents' neighborhood has turned into now. and you can guess the color of the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved in first, and I'm going to edit this out, but they first moved in a horse arena, and they were breaking horses for mariachi purposes. Yeah. So they would be playing the music loud to get the horses used to it, and then they're training them. So you can imagine the noise. Then they moved in a heavy equipment rental place.
Wow.
So they're moving 18-wheelers worth of shit in and out of there at all times of night and day.
Bloody hell.
And it's right across the corner from my parents' house. When we were staying there for a while before we moved into our apartment, it was so fucking loud.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Because you got big ass equipment backing down the fucking road to back into there. So you got to beep, beep, and then they go to leave, and it's just and oh my god, so fucking bad. And it's all like heavy well equipment and stuff like that. And they turn it into a giant fucking complex.
Okay.
But yeah, no, but we also had the incredibly junky white trash people down the road too, who had minimum a dozen cars in their yard. When one of their trailers got too shitty, they just bought another one, moved it onto a different part of land, and left the old one to rot. I'm not shitting you. They had 5 fucking shitty trailers, depending on how far back you went in the woods.
Yeah.
Then they brought in livestock. So then it got even worse. And then they started their own dirt company out of there. So they had dump trucks going in and out hauling dirt, along with all the other shit and everything else going on. So it's like, come on, people.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not, it really, now it's not as much country as it was back in the day. The city has encroached a lot. It's still on the outskirts of major actual city stuff.
All right.
But when we grew up, it was totally different. You know, trees galore.
Oh yeah.
Quiet place. No major highway nearby. You actually had to take a decent drive to go to the store and get stuff, you know. But also made toy shopping more fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And I screwed up. I grew up a spoiled brat, if I'm honest.
Firstborn child, I was too.
Only born child, so it lasted for a while, and then it went away. It was like an immediate cutoff too. There was no weaning. It was like my mom was gonna retire from her main job, so she started blowing out all her money she could, buying things like a new car, buying a pool. That was the best Christmas I ever had growing up. So my preteen days. Bought me a TV, stereo, VCR, all the things, and like had my own entertainment center in my room. And then, oh, by the way, I'm retiring, so
yeah.
So here's all this awesome stuff. Sorry about your future.
Yeah.
So it was literally like one big blowout and then cut off at that point. So that part kind of sucked, like if I'm honest. But it taught me to finally start doing shit on my own.
On your own.
Now, mind you, we grew up with money, and then of course, like I told you, it was a blowout sale, and then no more. So, and then in comparison, I had to start working for everything instead of being handed everything like I was earlier, and that makes a difference, especially when you're collecting.
Yeah,
even as adults, depending on your job, you gotta look at it like and this is the problem I've had very recently. I told you. Having to decide what I can buy because I may not have money this week.
I agree.
And you look at other guys, and this is obvious jealousy, I'm not even going to hide it, who buy whatever the fuck they want at any given time, and you just sit back like, hey, I got this.
Oh, talking about that. I don't know if I told you. At Hobbytown.
Yes.
Somebody comes up and talks to me and Dion.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, what's going on? Yada, yada, yada. I want to build something. I don't know what to build. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, sure, most people will start off with an HG.
Yeah.
Just to get started.
Yeah.
He points up on the shelf.
Yeah.
Not the MGs.
No, he points at the perfect grade.
Yeah.
Red frame?
No.
Or Axia?
The Unicorn and Banshee.
Yeah. He
bought both. As first kits.
I've been there with guys who've done that. I talked a guy into buying multiple expensive kits. I actually sold some shit for Hobbytown one day.
Oh, I have too, definitely.
But no, I believe it. When you have the money to splurge, it's like if you've never built anything before, and then you suddenly buy two of the most expensive and biggest kits there are, that are definitely not easy.
Especially the Banshee.
Yeah, Banshee's more complicated. But no, yeah, I believe it. But hey, if you've got the money,
by all means, go for it.
Just don't end up like a Paul. And just let the stupidity run your life. But hey, I guess if I could be rich being stupid, I could probably do it too.
Fair enough,
but would you rather struggle and have a brain and some decency, or be an asshole and an idiot and be rich?
Have a brain, definitely. Because even though you have money and it could buy you everything that you want,
yeah.
I mean, there's humility,
yeah,
to it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, not a lot of humbleness on some of these.
Yeah.
Fuckers. I think if I remember correctly, Logan Paul did a song about look at all the stuff I've got, more or less. When he bought his new Lamborghini and shit like that, you know, he made $3 million just off YouTube one year.
Must be nice.
Yeah, fucking yeah. If I can get $120 every 2 months, it'd be great. All right, well, that was a decent first question.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, because one thing about this is we obviously go off on a lot of sidetracks, so it is what it is. However, you sort of brought up, you led into my question for you,
which is
so obviously growing up in Mexico. Now you have your definite favorites, and this is not a favorites question.
Okay.
So you love Starscream.
Yeah.
You love obviously Transformers. You have a few other things that you have ingrained in you. But you grew up in a different world than I, literally a different world than I.
Definitely.
So how did all that really get set into you? What was it like growing up there, and how did these things get ingrained into you the way they did?
Cool.
Since it's a different upbringing. I mean, we sort of already kind of alluded to it, but
I mean, I guess definitely
because I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what was available there. Not even just toys, but TV wise and stuff like that. I mean,
definitely, I was in a better setting than most people would be, because my family had a business.
Yeah,
we made tortillas for a living.
Nice.
And we were one of the biggest in our town, so definitely money kept flowing in. Being a firstborn child in Mexico, especially in Mexican families, you get spoiled a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
So, growing up, definitely TV was there. We were.
Now, what year was this, mind you?
Huh?
What year? Well, because I know you're a little bit younger than me, but
yeah, definitely. I was born in '87, so
you're only a little bit. You're right behind me.
So put it '90s.
Okay. I'm just gauging them.
Yeah, definitely. But definitely, I grew up with cable being in my grandfather's house.
Oh, nice.
So
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have cable.
It was weird. Spanish cable was totally different.
Oh, I bet. Just as an aside, my parents got tired of cable before I was born. They didn't like it. So I had to deal with just regular TV for most of my life. I didn't have access to cable unless I went across the street to my buddy's house, or for myself until I moved out to my own first place.
Fair enough.
And what's the first thing my parents buy after I moved out?
I would say maybe I grew up about a good 6 years with my grandfather.
Okay.
We all lived there, we all worked there, etc. But, my grandfather would be the one to spoil me the most.
Okay.
So I did have a Super Nintendo. I had a Nintendo first, then the Super Nintendo, when most kids will have an Atari.
I had an Atari.
I still have my original Atari.
Really?
In Mexico.
No shit.
Yeah. 2600.
Oh, yeah. I sold mine.
I have my Nintendo, my NES, in Mexico.
Nice.
Yeah, sadly, all of my stuff that was over there, it's still over there.
Okay.
I haven't been able to bring it.
Just go get it.
Yeah.
It's so easy, right?
It really is.
Actually, right now would be a terrible time to go.
Yeah. So definitely grew up with cable. I ended up watching most cartoons that most kids wouldn't. Being Thundercats, being He-Man.
Oh, so you were catching the syndication from the 80s cartoons. From
the 80s cartoons.
Nice.
Definitely ended up watching some of the anime stuff, the early anime stuff.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, Messenger Z.
Voltron?
Voltron, of course. Robotech, old school.
Nice.
So all that stuff, just kept pouring in. Gaming wise, like I said, I had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo. My favorite game back in the days was I was maybe 5, 6 years old playing Mega Man 2, 3 on the NES.
Probably 2.
And absolutely one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
Throughout time.
We talked about Mega Man 2 not long ago. Mega Man 11?
Yes, it's up.
Yes.
I was actually going to bring something, but I was kind of like yes or no about it. I have a replica of the Mega Man helmet that lights up and everything.
I'll definitely take a look at that for a quickie one
Cool.
day.
Sure.
Well, it's the 30th anniversary. You can see my pile of Mega Man figures over there that I've got going on from GameStop. Actually, I want that 12-inch Mega Man they have from Jack's because that's pretty epic. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping next year they do Mega Man 2 because everything right now is all Mega Man original.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm hoping they do another 8-bit run. But you may continue. Sorry.
Let's say gaming, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, my Atari. Favorite game of all time, definitely Mega Man X. Super Nintendo.
Yes.
I could play that all day long and still be
Super
happy
Nintendo was so much better than, for obvious reasons, so much better than regular NES. Because it gave you all your classics, but in an upgraded format. And double the bits. Yeah. It's shit that you can play on your phone now.
Thank God for ROMs. Not that you guys get it, but ROMs.
Yeah. No, I had a few NES ROMs for a while. Actually, because you mentioned Dragon Ball, I had one of the older Dragon Ball Z Super Famicom games on a ROM.
Wow.
But it was a terrible ROM. Like the way it was set up, it took so long to learn how to do moves because I had to use a keyboard. That was so bad, but it was fun because that was the Boo Saga. So you had all of those guys. That was great. That was a lot of fun. Trying to learn how to do an actual Kamehameha was a huge pain in the ass. But so you were more of a you're a bit more well-to-do. So you basically were almost like about a half a decade behind the U.S. a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But it makes sense. Now, the cartoons and stuff, were they actually translated or
they were
subbed?
No, they were totally translated. They were totally dubbed.
Oh, so
it was weird.
When did you first hear the actual American Transformers or anything like that?
I came to the States, give or take, about 1997.
Okay.
So early 98.
Okay.
Is when I first heard Optimus Prime in English. And it was a total different...
Yeah, so the first time you heard Peter Cullen.
Yeah, and I was like...
more than a decade after he did the thing originally. Yeah. That's weird. Because growing up here... Because that's what when you mentioned all that, I'm thinking about the fact, obviously that's going to be dubbed.
Yeah.
And that's weird. I also know, the Dragon Ball Z Spanish dubs are really weird.
They're totally different. Everything is called a different name.
Well, of course it is. Because now you're giving you can't use the Japanese name of it, so you have to call it something entirely different.
The only thing that stayed was the Kamehameha.
Yeah, because it's just a word.
Yeah. But Spirit Bomb was a Genki Dama.
Well, that's a Japanese name.
Yeah. And Mafuba.
Yeah. Well, just...
That technically just stayed within the same...
Yeah. Actually, I don't even remember because I never saw that much Dragon Ball growing up. So it wasn't until Dragon Ball Super that I saw the Mafuba.
Oh, okay.
I knew what it was, but I never grew up with it, so I didn't see that part.
Gotcha.
I never got that far in Dragon Ball. They cut it off.
Oh, we started off with Dragon Ball. One of the first animes in Mexico was Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, Saint Seiya.
See, you guys should have been getting that the same time we did.
We got it a little bit afterwards.
Roughly in the 90s.
Yeah.
So when we first started getting the anime invasion.
Yeah.
And where Toonami would have been the very first breaking through thing of that. Because I was catching Dragon Ball on what I believe was Channel 39 here now. Which was kind of WB-ish stuff. So Dragon Ball started there or on UPN. They were kind of going back and forth.
It really was.
So many networks were fluid back then, so it was a lot of syndication. So Dragon Ball never got past the Mount Frypan saga here.
Yeah.
Never did.
You're right.
So I never knew Krillin. I never knew Piccolo. I never knew any of that until Z started.
Yeah.
A couple of years later. So.
Also another thing that you might want to know.
I do.
Obviously growing up in Mexico, we watched the original Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The blood and gore.
Yeah.
It was all there.
Oh, they actually left it in.
Yeah, they left it in.
Yeah, they left in the P here, but they edited almost everything else.
Everything else.
Bulma,
the famous Goku and Bulma.
Yeah.
Wasn't there.
Yeah.
And I never saw it here in the States.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, man, it's a different world. They way edited it down over here.
So it was totally different because watching it with my cousins who lived here.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, there's episodes missing in this, or there's something missing in this particular scene.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about? And now I have to tell them, hey, in Mexico you saw this.
Yeah.
And they're like, holy hell,
That's cool though. Now I feel like I want to watch those, like, because I should go back and rewatch original Dragon Ball just for fun.
It is fun. It's extremely fun.
He's like, but I don't know if I want to watch the sub or the dub. Because I grew up on the English version, obviously.
I watched it in Spanish.
But you watched it in Spanish. But I mean, like, nowadays, we're more attuned to watching real, raw anime and with subs. And Super, I can't really watch Dragon Ball Super in the dub. But I love Z. I will not accept Z in the original.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's so hard. But, like, it's kind of how you get it. Now, I've seen the movies. I've seen the Dragon Ball Z Super movies. Subbed or dubbed, and it's okay. You know, I love Sean Schimmel. I love oh god, the other guy does Vegeta. Locked his voice or locked his name. All of a sudden, I feel terrible. But I love those guys. Will always love those guys. But you know what's really messed up for me now?
What?
I accept Team 4-Star in their portrayal.
I agree.
And like, I'm so happy that they're continuing.
Dragon Ball, Hellsing.
Yeah. Oh my god. I've never completely watched all the way through Hellsing Ultimate, but the abridged, it's so good. Their Alucard, which I want to see Alucard fight Cell in a thing because he would just be yelling back and forth at himself. It's like he's just Cell, but as a vampire. But like, it took so long to get that Hellsing thing. But oh god, it's so funny. They're human. But have you finished Z? Abridged?
Yes.
Okay. Now you know that they went back to the manga for some of that. Mm-hmm. So like like Vegeta being the only one who attacks Cell, but you know when they were going through Android 16's files on his body.
Oh yeah.
And they found that whole tape. That was all brand new animation that they did.
Huh.
That was all Team 4-Star. They wrote that. They had it animated and inserted it.
Interesting.
Because it filled out the backstory better. And then they they chopped in some of their own audio for Goku attacking in the background.
Oh, okay.
So they actually added to the story themselves. That's impressive. Nobody's ever done. And I haven't checked if they put up episode 60 part 2 again.
I don't know.
Because it got hit with the copyright.
Yeah.
Hard. And that's horse shit. And I bet it was over the music. But they re-record all their own music. They have a whole studio that I didn't realize except for some of the sound effects, they actually redo everything themselves. Because you can remake the same sound.
Yeah.
But if you're just making a new version of the sound, are you infringing on the copyright?
Technically not.
It's your own. It's your own. Yeah. It's like saying that they owe money to the previous voice actors for doing the same character when they're not. They're doing a version of their own character. But they re-recorded all their own music. And like the song that they're playing when Gohan transforms finally, that's the first English translation of that song. I believe. So they actually completely re-recorded, remastered, and translated that song.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
That's the bullshit that they might have gotten hit on. I don't know for particular. I need to check and see if they took it down. But hell, it got like 2.3 million views before it got taken down.
Yeah.
And
I saw it popped up. I was like, click.
Yeah. So I was trying to rewatch it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, motherfucker, really? And why number 2? They know that that's the one that everybody wanted to see.
Wants to watch. Yeah.
And the way it ended was fun. I like how they changed it, but no. But I did want to. I wanted to hear the take on growing up in Mexico, and it sounds like you had a very similar childhood to my own, which is cool. I mean, not that I expected you to be dirt poor and growing up, whatever. I like the tortilla maker idea.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, so my grandfather, he was doing it since the 60s.
Yeah,
I want to say, and sadly, you know, all my uncles, my aunts, they grew up there. They will work there, but they will be well off. You know, we were well off.
Damn rich Mexicans. No, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't say rich.
Yeah.
When my dad cut off the ties when he got married to my mom, I was born a year after.
Okay.
5 years later, we got our own house.
Okay.
It was a little bit, maybe 30, 40 minutes away from my grandfather's.
Okay.
But, you know, it was a totally different thing, but yet I was able to enjoy it myself.
Okay.
I wouldn't say we had money, but we were definitely okay.
Oh, that's good.
And that's where I've met, like, all my good friends from over there. Sadly, I only kept one over the years.
I couldn't tell you whatever happened to my, like, young childhood friends. Obviously, there's no way that, you know, being that it was, like, 1988, you know, when you know, there was no going back and visiting. Yeah. There was no coming out to, like, do sleepovers or something like that, so they were just, gone. Because there was one kid, I believe his name was Brian. He lived across. He was the one who essentially lived across the street. So actually, you've met Brian here, my buddy Brian.
Okay, yeah.
And so he's the one I grew up with when we moved to the country.
Oh, okay.
So I still had a Brian living across the street, just and actually round about the same angle off. Because even to this day, nobody lives directly across from my parents. That whole corner lot has never been cleared or anything like that. Oh. The family on the opposite side owns all of it, and they didn't want to have any families, so they bought the fucking lot. Yeah. But it's actually cool that lot has never been developed, so there's a nice view directly in front of my parents' house. Nice. So yeah, no, but yeah, that kid, God knows whatever happened to him. I went over there to visit him one day after school, or it might have been a weekend or whatever. And you know, you're a little kid, you don't really have that much sense of boundary. I just walked right in the house. His mom was in the shower, like she comes running out in a towel, like, because who the hell just walked in the house? Yeah, Mind you, this is like 1985. Okay. No, I'm sorry, about 1987.
All right.
In the suburbs. You didn't lock your doors.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. Like you were talking about, the whole neighborhood, everybody knows everybody.
Each other, yeah.
There's family parties, stuff like that. Everybody knows, you know. I had kind of an adopted grandpa sort of down the road. I believe he's either Cuban or something along those lines, but I could not pronounce his actual name, so he was just called Choo Choo.
Yeah.
And he was like my adopted, even though I had grandparents. Yeah. But he was right there, so he would babysit me occasionally. Stuff like that. Then we had, you know, Brian and his mom, and then the girl who lived in the other direction that did bad things to me while babysitting me. And then, like, not too far away was, like, my mom's best friend. And so I grew up with her daughters. We did keep in touch with them. They came out to visit us a couple times.
Oh, nice.
They're a black family. And, like, they were, like, the 80s black family. Like, so, like, you walk in their house, and everything is, like, hardcore Americanized stuff. Like, I remember sleeping over there on legit, like, lion sheets and pillows and stuff. But, I mean, it was all actually fairly tasteful, if I can remember correctly, because you walked in. I remember walking into their house, and it smelled different. Okay. They weren't African by any means, but they were still, you know. And, actually, I don't think about her husband might have. Anyway, they had a huge, like, one of those big murals that everybody had, like the giant fucking wall paintings, and it was 2 lions on the Serengeti. So it was really awesome. That was, like, right in their foyer. But, you know, back then, it was a very different fucking world. I mean, obviously racism existed. Of course. But I didn't grow up in that. You know, they were a well-off black family living in the suburbs, and I grew up next to them. They were my best friends, you know? So, I mean, and obviously Cuban or whatever he was, I know he definitely wasn't, English, and he was more brown skinned. He's an old dude. He was like in his 70s then. But perfectly nice dude. You know, I didn't grow up with racism.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to encounter it through
Nowadays,
TV.
yeah.
Through TV and movies, I encountered racism and stuff like that, and didn't grow up in it. And my family came from the Ukraine, so you know my grandparents barely spoke any English. You know, they learned what they could to get by, and then of course my mom and her siblings all had to learn, and they grew up in a community. You know, just like obviously anybody, you're gonna move in with the people nearby, the people who are similar to you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know it's a different world.
Yeah, definitely. I can attest to that because growing up in Mexico, you obviously grew up with different parts of Mexico, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to the States, I remember my best friend was from Honduran descent.
Okay.
But you had Hondurans here, you had Salvadorians, Mexicans.
Ah, Salvadorians.
Yeah, some of them are nice.
No. I picked because I had a good friend who was, and I would always fucking pick on him, call him Mexican. To piss him off.
Piss him off, yeah. Well, you don't do that to a Mexican, or you don't do that to a
No. But one of my better friends in school was Guatemalan.
Okay.
And we couldn't pronounce his name properly, so I actually gave him his new name. So it was just like in that 70s show when they renamed Fez. So his name was Eder. I can say it now, of course.
Yeah.
But we just called him Ed because it's easier.
Yeah.
And he was just our Guatemalan. Because he would hang out with us, so he was like our token kid. It's really funny. But you know, and he was like the little dude. And then we introduced him as our Guatemalan one time, and the girl misheard us and thought we called him our watermelon.
Wow.
Because
yeah.
And so from there on out, she just called him watermelon. They had a cute little, anyways. But it's just like because I didn't grow up in that. I didn't grow up in the hating other people because it didn't matter to me.
Yeah,
but because when you move to a new place, you just try to blend in as best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And we only moved the once back then.
Yeah.
Of course, now we bounce around because you know it's life. But you know you got to find the people you. I mean, when we moved into our neighborhood, our family owned most of the properties in the thing. Like I don't mean my direct family. We have family members everywhere. Even now, the main neighborhood is mostly 4 or 5 families.
Okay.
Just we basically picked our corners.
Yeah.
So we moved out there to be with family, and so we just found friends otherwise.
Yeah. So
obviously you move into a more Central and South American neighborhood area.
It was actually apartments.
Oh, that makes sense.
Apartment.
That's like its own little biome.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was different because you did have your one corner where you weren't allowed to go.
Yeah.
But everything else in the back, per se, was all of us.
Yeah.
And we all got along. You know, surprisingly, we all got along.
Well, you kind of didn't have a choice.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, you're put into a place where the only people you can probably get along with are
talk to
or relate to. So yeah, it's just, and you're talking. When did you come here? 97. 7. Yeah.
97. So. We stayed with some family, give or take about 3 months.
Okay.
Those 3 months, I don't want to bash my family, but they weren't the greatest, because you know how you sliding with somebody and they start for a while. You know you're great and all. Afterwards,
you get an overstayed welcome. Yeah. All right, guys, so that kind of wrapped our personal section. So now we go on to kind of general nerd topics. So just discuss. It's not really a discussion. It's more like what is your opinion of situations.
Right, cool.
So it's fairly simple. Now favorites technically can go in this section because it's not if you want to go there. I've considered that now, but in the personal section, favorites doesn't work because you're not learning enough about the person. And once again, you can go first.
So something
it can be in anything nerd related, any topic. It's just a topical question of some sort that you want my side of.
Okay, obviously you're a Transformers fan. Sure. You're a big Beast Wars Dinobot.
Sure.
Fan.
Of course. We've discussed this
before.
Yes,
many times.
Yes.
Beast Wars, I cannot say was one of my favorites.
To each their own.
But I definitely did enjoy, and this was one of my other first Transformers I had, Tigerhawk.
Okay.
I had that toy.
Lucky.
And my brother had the Stingray.
Dutch Charge.
Yes.
Yes.
We both had those toys. Something I just want to say.
You're just rubbing it in, you don't have a question?
Yeah.
That's such a dick. Get to an actual question there, Eric. You're rubbing it in, you asshole. Because you were leading and like you didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I was trying to like figure out a question about that. It's like...
well, the irony is that several friends of mine on YouTube have a Beast Wars podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Stasis Lock.
Okay.
So they do episode reviews. But one of them, and he's going to be on the Nerdcast very soon, it's his favorite series ever. And he's only missing a few of the toys.
Nice.
And if you know, Beast Wars wasn't a very massive toy line.
It really was.
Even though it didn't even cover a lot of things. He's got prototype figures. He's got test shots. He's got a is it a Dino? He's got a Dinobot prototype, like MP Dinobot prototype.
Interesting.
I think
MP at that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And he's got four MP Dinobots. He's got 4 MP Megatrons coming. Because he likes to keep one in box. He likes to have one on Dino mode, one in robot mode, and then one to get signed or whatever. So he leaves one sealed in box and all this shit. And it's like, good God, motherfucker. It's like he can't even display everything he owns.
Yeah.
One thing he does have, I'm just talking about somebody else, and this was on my random Nerdcast and that he came on, he was showing this off. One of his grails. It's one of the very few episodes that is storyboarded out.
Interesting.
And he actually has these storyboards. And it's Code of Hero.
Ooh.
Where Dinobot dies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's some very, it's all hand-drawn stuff, so the actual storyboards and how everything went. Some of them are hilarious. The way it's drawn, you see little notes from the actual writers and shit. I'm like, dude, how do you not get this signed by Scott McNeil?
Yeah, really.
I was like, he's probably never, ever going to see that in his life. And I told him, like, he's got to, and he's already going to get that signed.
Yeah.
He had, or did he say he already did it? I think he said, no, he had something else signed. There were only 2 people who had him signed. There was the guy in front of him and then him. But I can't remember what it was. That was something like Gary Chalk. Oh, it was, yeah, it was. It was the MP Primal. So he has the second ever MP Primal signed by Gary Chalk.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So the guy in front of him had the first, and then he got the second. And of course, God knows how many people after that. So he's going to get his Dinobot signed by Scott McNeil when he can. And he should get his Cheetors signed as well. I don't think he has that yet by Gillette or whatever. No, I forgot how they got. He's got a weird name.
Yeah.
But either way, we don't really have a question there. Luckily, I didn't have that many Beast Wars toys.
Really?
No, I didn't. I had Dinobot and I had Tigatron.
Okay.
That was it. And those toys were not even remotely accurate to the show. One thing I still want to this day is an Optimal Optimus. And I really want that Beast Gorilla, the third-party one for Perfect Effect. Yeah. And Mega Dragon just came out, which is the Megatron to go with the Optimal Optimus. And it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Is it the one that you showed me?
Huh?
Is it the one that you showed me?
It may have been. I don't know. It's been a while. But it just came out, the week before TFCon.
I think.
And it's huge. I mean, it's like this. Yeah. And for the price, I definitely one. Now, the transformation apparently is a beast, no pun intended. And it is difficult and it's a pain in the ass. So, and you're probably going to just leave it in one mode or the other, and you're never going to transform it again.
Definitely.
But I want Beast Gorilla, and I kind of want the Power of the Primes Optimal Optimus.
Okay.
I kind of do. But I have to get the third-party upgrade that has the truck body, or the truck add-on to it.
Okay.
Because they neglected that from Power of the Prime, because reasons. But Beast Wars was one of my favorite Transformers series. Always, still is. I have to go back and watch it again sometime soon, just for fun. But a lot of the toys were crap, and a lot of that was the later ones where they were spending the money on the leader class, or even some of the bigger ones that you got the money. So, I always wanted the Transmetal Optimus, and Megatron. So the Optimus who had the skate or the floating hoverboard, and the Megatron with his jets or turbines in the legs. I've always wanted those. And it's going to be a long time, but they'll be out in MP scale eventually. Because they're going to do, looks like they're going to do everybody. So, I mean, of course, I'm jealous of you for rubbing it in that you had a Tiger Hawk like a dick. Now, what did he... Okay, so he was only...
he was main body tiger with the wings and the little eagle helmet.
So he was more or less a Fusor.
Yeah.
So he was like a Fusor Transmetal, kind of. But it was made by the Fox, so that's weird in the first place. Fusion. It was a fusion, technically, of their bodies, but not their sparks. Mm-hmm. But their sparks found their way to it eventually. Anyways. But no, Depth Charge, that's a cool one. We talked about that before, because I forgot who it was we were talking to. It was in the Nerdcast, and I forgot. Oh, I think it might have been Dennis TheKrowSama. He had either Depth Charge or Rampage.
I remember Rampage. Yeah.
Because Rampage, the hard part about him is he had real working tank treads, but they would tuck up inside the claws or something like that, and you had to take them out and like band them around the wheels. And if you fucked it up or that rubber got bad on you,
that was gone.
Dude, could you imagine MP Rampage down the line?
That was great.
I mean, like those were like really kind of on par with the actual animation, whereas the early shit clearly wasn't. Oh, yeah. And now the only way we're getting anything like this is either from third party, which is usually taking some liberties and changing aesthetics, and then the actual MP line that's coming out. Now MP Megatron, it's stupid expensive.
I mean, you knew that I had a MP G1 Starscream.
Yeah, you did.
Sadly, stuff happened,
but now it leaves you open to eventually finally get that Meteor.
Yeah,
you need to. Christmas list. Do it. It's worth it.
I plan to.
Yeah.
Oh, I plan to.
Yeah. Because even Deluxe has told me that it's a must. It's so much better than the MP. Although the old school Coronation version of the MP, was that MP11? Yeah.
Yes.
He was right after MP10. Is one of the best things he just loves it because of the set.
Yeah.
I don't think Make Toys has done the Coronation one yet.
I don't think so.
I think they've done the Ghost, but they have not done. That might have been a very limited edition, but they have not done Coronation. And I think they're doing the Coneheads down the line. Ooh. I think they are. It's the same mold, so it's not. Yeah. They're not stretching the. Oh, by the way, I got my G1 Starscream right up there, the reissue.
Nice.
That's garbage. Let's just be honest, but it's fun to finally have. Because part of me did want to ask you, because when we get there, I was going to ask you about where the Starscream love came from, and we will get there. Okay. Because we're still talking about me for now, and your barely cobbled together question.
Yes, agreed.
Jackass. I have to lead the witness here, apparently. This is what happens when you throw one together at the last second.
Last second and without any context.
It's just an excuse to get people to come over.
I mean, I don't mind coming over.
I need a friend to come and play.
You know that. We don't mind coming over. It's just, hey, heads up.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I thought you had some prep whatsoever. Normally, I have like a whole big thing that I tell everybody, but I didn't know that you didn't know. Either way, it's okay. I mean, like, well, at least we know each other already, so it's one thing. Whereas everybody else I've been talking to is a stranger. Yeah. So the only way they can come up with anything is by browsing my Facebook for a couple hours. So I mean, that's just the basics of trying to figure something out via my Facebook. Whereas I've known you for a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I really want Dion to come on.
That would be great.
Because that'd be a whole lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Anytime we sit down and chit chat, it's fun.
I want to be here for that one.
Shit, everybody would. He doesn't have the free time anymore now, so that's the hard part. But I told him I'd go to him if I have to. I mean, the microphone does travel.
Fair enough.
But yeah, Beast Wars, there's a whole lot of things I would love to have, but I don't need to have them. Like, I'm not like Dakota. I don't have to have everything that's ever existed ever. However, I would love to have the new versions of those things.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there are those beautiful, awesome... And I did get to review Nick's MP Primal.
Oh, nice.
Which was fun. He loaned it to me. And I want to do the rest of the line. I do want to have Dinobot. Just got to find the budget. Because it's so good. Actually, Dakota told me he would lend me one and a Megatron for review.
Okay.
So and he's just in Louisiana, so You can ship it over here for like $5.
Yep.
Borrow it. And he's like, but you can. It's like, I'm not gonna break it. Send me your open one, so I don't have to worry about it.
Definitely.
You know, it's like I just want to review the damn thing and play with it, and then I'll send it right back. I don't need to keep it. Unlike some of the shit I end up adopting because nobody comes and gets their shit.
What have you adopted?
The G1 Transformers that I've got. The legit G1s in there that my buddy Leo let me borrow, and he's never come back to get. But I've got other adoptions and stuff like that. No kits or anything, but I damn near adopted some of the stuff David left here. Because, like, he just left, like, reviewed kits here for, like, 2 months. Yeah. It is what it is, but, you know. It's like, I love David and Ariel, but take your shit home.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm done with it. Take it home, please. Okay, so I'm going to reverse it on you now. Because you are a massive Starscream fan. Where did that come from and why? I mean, I understand, because especially G1... Starscream seems to be really ingrained in you. But, like, what is the reason? And presumably, you love more than just the one.
Yeah.
So, list me off some of your favorites as you go.
Obviously, G1's my favorite.
Okay.
Hands down, why? He was just an asshole. Like, hands down, he did not care about what Megatron thought.
Yeah.
Or wanted.
Uh-huh.
He just wanted to do his own agenda, and yet be leader of the Decepticons.
Well, he was like a ladder climber.
Yeah.
But he was also a pussy.
Yeah, I know. But he was that. It was that way, and yet that asshole in him that just drew my attention.
Yeah, that's funny.
Megatron, that
probably says a lot about you.
Megatron, hands down, definitely.
Yeah. A
favorite, but not the one.
Yeah.
Coronation Starscream.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what was it about it, but the fact that he was leader for 10 seconds at max.
Yeah.
And then he gets his ass shot.
Yeah, and he gets near.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know why. Hands down, my favorite scene of all Transformers.
It is quite funny. You got some major comeuppance there.
Yeah.
It's like Galvatron did something that Megatron never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Megatron almost never punished him at all for any of his betrayal.
And yet Galvatron...
And then Galvatron didn't waste time, even though it's still technically the same person.
But yeah, the hands down
because of his attitude?
Attitude, assholeness,
yeah.
And just downright disrespect towards Megatron.
But he's your number one out of all the Starscreams that have come. Okay, so what are some of your other favorites? Because we can have favorites in this section. Because there's been a ton... of Starscreams over the years.
Cybertron, definitely one of them.
Wait, was he the one? Was Cybertron the one? Not this one. I'll try. Which one was the one that he was like, the girls were like fawning over? The animated one. Was that? That's not Cybertron. That's
not Cybertron.
No, this is the Galaxy Force one.
Mm-hmm.
Cybertron is Galaxy Force. Energon? Was it Energon?
I think it was Energon.
Yeah, it was in a trilogy.
Yeah.
The trilogy that's not really anyway.
But yeah, let's say Cybertron.
Because he's very similar though to G1 Starscream in his actions and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't catch all of that series. I didn't catch all of Cybertron.
Let's see.
Actually, he's the one who stood out the least to me, honestly, because I paid way more attention to what's going on with the Autobots.
I just couldn't get behind Autobots at all. Everyone else that I grew up with.
Yeah.
Was Optimus, was B, was Rodimus. I can't.
You're clearly wearing a Decepticon shirt. I mean, yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was everyone else that.
You're just not a good guy.
Yeah, because
I explained so much now.
I've always thought about it. It's like, okay, what the good guys get all the praises and everything, but as soon as they mess up, they make a mistake, they lose everything.
Yeah.
And yet the bad guys, you expect them to try to blow up the world with a floppy disk.
Yeah.
And yet they lose, they still try again.
Yeah.
They have nothing to lose, and yet everything to win. Good guys, first mistake, first death, accidental thing you do wrong, you fall out of praise.
Well, that's, in the Bayverse, that is incredibly true.
Yeah.
I think there wasn't a whole lot of that in G1, though. I mean,
No, it wasn't in G1.
No, but definitely in later series, yeah. But depending on how much interaction they were having with the humans themselves and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Though personally, while G1 is great, Prime Starscream. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. I'll give you that, but I'm still Starscream.
Dude, Steve doing that fucking role.
Yeah.
Now he was like, all the other versions of Starscream, some of them are just wacky and weird, and don't have anything to do with the original one. Prime Starscream took what G1 did to a whole new level, though.
Oh yeah,
he was downright. I mean, his first action in the series is killing Cliffjumper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people did G1 Starscream ever kill? Well, not humans, probably a couple.
Yeah,
but
Autobots.
One reason I can't take that G1 Starscream too seriously was a Decepticon in King Arthur's court.
Okay.
When they went back in time and he tried to take over Camelot. Yeah. Or actually, I think he succeeded in taking over Camelot. That's where I can't take it seriously. But that's the 80s-ness. Yeah. But as a character, sure, he's fine. Actually, have you ever watched Lindsay Ellis's Loose Cannon on Starscream?
I have not.
So she does a thing called Loose Cannon, and she takes all the versions of the character and talks about them for the most part. And that was her first one. She loves Starscream.
I need to see this.
Yeah, no, it's great because she analyzes all the different Starscreams for that reason. But Bayverse Starscream was useless.
Yeah. Oh, I hated him.
Yeah,
hands down. Oh my god!
Because he was the sniveling whatever, but he was actually, while Megatron was out, he was the leader of the Decepticons.
Yeah.
But he...
I just couldn't get behind him. It was something about his...
But he didn't even have anything as a character. He was just a dude who fought and eventually died.
The fact that he got taken out by...
Sam. In such a dumb way. Yeah. Although showing a grenade in his eye hole was pretty good. Let's just be honest. He died well, but that was just...
It was like a human taking down a Decepticon.
Yeah,
and even then at that, Starscream.
But he was using Cybertronian weapons to do it.
Fair enough.
It was the weapons that Cup gave him.
Yeah.
Or Coop. Cup, not Wheeljack, not Coop, not whatever.
But yeah, I hated Michael Bayverse.
Like I said, Michael Berry. Yeah. No, that's the wrong person. His version of Starscream, though. Okay, so G1 has been ingrained into you so much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've seen what Dion did for me. He was a terrorist bomber in G1 colors.
Which is awesome, yeah.
I absolutely love it. Yeah. Hands down. It sits between these two. But it was just G1.
I like the fact that he's such an... And legitimately, anything happened to Megatron, he jumped on it immediately.
Exactly.
I'm in charge!
Yep, exactly.
But he never actively tried to kill Megatron.
I know.
Well, I think there was like one time. But other than that, like, he didn't...
But see, that's the thing. I always picture Starscream to be that one person, the opportunist.
He's an opportunist, yeah. But he's not... He'll betray you when he can sneak it in.
Yeah.
When he knows he doesn't have to really work to win. And then, of course, for the movie, he just dumps him out into space to die, which, of course, was his own downfall. Yeah. He was definitely guilty of a lot of hubris, like most bad guys.
Yeah.
And he gets caught monologuing.
A lot.
Yeah. Well, they all do.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Thundercracker and I loved
Skywarp. Thundercracker was Skywarp was an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a cocky son of a bitch. Like Starscream was opportunistic and full of himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't cocky.
Skywarp
is a cocky bastard.
Total different 180.
Yeah, that black and purple really sunk into him. Thundercracker, I thought, didn't get as much characterization.
Don't get me wrong, I love all the Seekers, but just something about Starscream stood out the most.
Yeah. Well, he was the leader, technically.
But
his constantly trying to take over the Decepticons was hilarious. I mean, he was the air commander, as it was, so he was in charge of the fleets and the Seeker armies and stuff like that. Why did he ever need to take over all of the Decepticons? He already had command over a good chunk of them.
And you technically would have...
you know what? I'll give him credit. he made the Combaticons.
Yes.
So he was responsible for Bruticus.
Yeah.
Technically speaking. So give him credit. He tried a lot. Sometimes he was dumb as hell. Sometimes he was very smart.
Agreed.
Yeah. But I mean, I just always wanted to know why. Why it's like I get, we all have our favorite characters. Obviously, I've got a lot more affinity for Prime and stuff like that. But I have my other favorite characters. But Starscream, it takes a certain type.
Yeah, definitely. I won't lie to that.
One thing that the word that Lindsay uses to describe him is duplicitous, and that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
You really do need to go watch her thing on it. It's really good, really well done. It's basically a video essay on Transformers.
I just see this.
She does it on a whole bunch. She just did. Oh God, who is it? Like yesterday, she just put out a new one. And she only does them every couple of months, but like she does really long video essays.
You gotta send me this one. You can find the link.
It's really good. I'll send it to you because I watch it every now and then because it's so fun. Because whenever she gets to Prime Starscream, she talks about it because he is the first one to have high heels.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing about and it comes down to also some of the actors that have played Starscream.
Yeah,
have done it real well. Chris Latta. A few of those early guys.
See, and then in return, let's say the Autobots. There was only one person I liked.
Okay.
Ultra Magnus.
Really?
Yeah, because the way I saw.
I'm starting to see a white and blue and red aspect here.
No, it wasn't.
I know. I'm just joking,
yeah. But it wasn't even so much that. It was the fact that if he really got down to it, he could wipe all the Decepticons.
Yeah, he's badass.
Yeah,
he's a city commander.
And you have Prime, where he's technically Captain America. The good
Very
boy.
much so, yeah. He's the Boy Scout.
Yeah. And then you have Ultra Magnus, who just doesn't give a shit.
He's the soldier.
Yeah.
But Prime would absolutely just wreck some shit.
Yeah.
Because he is technically one of the most powerful.
Yeah.
Where Ultra Magnus is right behind him. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. He could have wiped the floor with most of them.
Pretty much all the Decepticons.
Yeah, so... But then he gets his ass wrecked in the movie so easily.
Yeah,
it's really
I remember
ridiculous.
that.
They shot him and he fell apart, basically. Because he exploded, but just into convenient chunks for the Junkions to fix. But no, I get you on that one, because he's a big bruiser. He's a big badass.
Yeah. It was only him that stood out the most.
But to me, he had the least amount of character.
Yeah.
Later versions have a lot more character built into them, but G1 version, at least to me, maybe I didn't spend enough time with him.
Yeah, he was just there per se, but like I said, it was just something about Ultra Magnus that could get shit done.
Yeah.
But he will fall under.
Yeah, he follows commands. Yeah. He won't do shit on his own. He's a good soldier, and he's basically second only to Prime.
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, they may or may not have been brothers in different continuity, which is
true.
why internally he's actually a white version of Prime, because they're actually supposed to be brothers in the comics.
And that was it. I mean, the only Autobot I could get behind, Ultra Magnus.
You would want to get behind him because he's huge. He's you're not going to get shot.
Yeah, of course not. And then he falls apart.
Yeah. But one thing I like about Starscream is he knew his place, but then of course wanted to move up whenever he could. But there were times where he had no problem when Megatron turned into gun mode and he would use him as a weapon.
Yeah, yeah.
Why at the with mass shifting and all that, he could have just gone snap Megatron in half, right? Why did that never occur to him? Am I just the only one who has come up with this idea that he really could have just killed him in gun mode?
Right now, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have thought about it.
But think about it, though. Death wasn't really permanent back in the G1 days. Not until the movie. That was the only time we really saw... Yeah, people got blown up. People got fixed.
Yeah.
The movie came around.
You saw
Death became permanent.
Yeah.
They wiped out most of the G1 cast, the original cast that landed from the Ark, in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
And then kill Optimus himself. They're like, well, all right, we're moving on to something new.
Yeah, something new.
And we'll repeal it as soon as possible. Bring back Optimus.
Yeah.
Starscream is one of the only ones who managed to have an immortal spark. for reasons.
For some reasons. Yeah.
But you talk about Beast Wars, he came back in Beast Wars and tried to do the same damn thing that he did.
He was in what, good 5, 6 series? Besides G1?
Oh, just as a character?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in every version. But I'm saying at least he himself, it was G1 Starscream. Oh, one of my favorite episodes was whenever he was a ghost post-movie, and he does all the shit for Unicron to get a new body.
Yeah.
He gets blown up again. He became a joke, sadly. But that was a passing of the guard situation. But I love that he comes back and becomes Unicron's bitch.
Yeah.
But God, he caused a lot of problems. But actually in Titan's Return, and also rolling into Powers of the Prime, or Power of Primes, because it is G1 Starscream, he causes a whole lot of shit too.
Yeah. Because
they go some of the IDW continuity, so he goes to be president, and then
I remember that.
But then he also takes in some of the Enigma of Combination and powers himself up because of this giant energy transformer. But then he takes over fucking Trypticon.
Yeah.
It's like, so, I mean, they took the G1 Starscream aspect and blew him way up. Yeah. But actually in IDW, because it is still G1 continuity, more or less, you know, he is the ruler of Cybertron.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They elected him to run the damn planet.
Yeah. It's just small things like that makes me fall in love with the character.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
If there was anything if there was a specific thing that really got in there, that you had to have that Starscream in you.
It was just...
You don't have a Starscream tattoo, though.
I do not. I have planned about it.
You should get one. Not something ridiculous, but you should get something.
No, I want to get him as his, the F-15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. You should get an F-15 model and paint it up.
Ideas.
Why do I always have the good ideas? I'm the idea man, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, you do come up with most of my color schemes.
Yeah, I bring you your color schemes. Well, I have to get you out of black and gold.
Yeah.
Get away from gold.
Gold in general.
Too much gold.
Yeah.
Too much gold in this world. You can see how many gold things I have. Approximately.
Technically, I've only done 3.
Yeah, gold. That's true. That's true.
It was the Shia,
the Fenice,
and my Sazabi.
Yeah, that's right. It's okay.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, you're getting away from it.
Yeah.
But you would have stayed in black and gold for a while if I let you. Get away from black and gold.
I'm trying.
New concepts. I still want to see blue and orange.
I have an idea for that, and it's going to be my RG Sazabi.
Okay. I almost bought that kit.
Hey,
I just remembered that my Gundam War comes in on Monday. I have to go up to work and get it.
Oh, nice. I have not opened it yet.
I have to do a new In the Kitchen with Shoky. Those videos are fun, but I haven't had anything big to come in to do one. Like when I only got that kit, I didn't want to do a normal In the Kitchen.
Okay. Yeah.
It's hard doing that fake British accent for so long.
Talking about, and this game kind of getting back to the Gunpla, but I recently went to San Antonio, and I found out they're having a contest for San Japan.
Really?
They're having 3 different ones,
mm-hmm.
but all technically with San Japan Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I plan on taking something interesting to it.
Okay.
A kit bash.
Okay.
Think Fenice
mm-hmm.
and a X1 full cloth.
Okay.
I have an interesting idea with it.
Okay.
I don't know colors yet, so you know.
I'll be on that. Fine, I'll settle that one for you too. Actually, I already know what you should do. You need to do IDW Drift.
Ooh.
With the cape.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, think about Fenice's head. So you think about his crest and all that. You think about all that. Take your full cloth. So you got your drift.
Yeah.
Up there, he's already mostly Gundam colored.
Yeah.
But that would be Transformers inspiration. Or you can do Deadlock. His other personality. So either you go with white and gray, or you go the opposite color scheme. But it would be interesting because he's already Gundam inspired as it is.
Yeah.
But he has that big duster cape that he wears, so you're gonna go with the full cloth situation there.
Mm.
Which realistically, you don't even need a full cloth kind of for that. You just use the wings to do that, but you need the assembly.
Lately, I've been getting more and more into
Scratch build stuff.
Scratch build. What I want to get better at.
Get on my level. I'm just picking on you.
What I want to get better at is scribing.
Everybody wants to get better at scribing. I need some scribing tools because of the scribing stuff I did on that kid out there, I'm not happy with.
I've been playing around with the SD Saku, the cross silhouette, and I've been scratch building parts for it to make it into a Psycho Zaku.
Nice. A little SD Psycho.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a lot of work.
Those thrusters are the verniers and all that. Yeah, that's lately been a pain, but
I've been helping Thomas come up with some ideas for him. So he's gonna have a trio of custom Leos.
Nice.
So he just did a fire flamethrower one.
Ooh.
Yeah, looks really good. I'm gonna give him the Buster rifle I have from my Ultron.
Okay.
So he's gonna do a Buster Leo.
Ooh.
Yeah. And so he's got the flamethrower, he's going to have the Buster rifle, and then he's going to go with the close range melee type.
Nice.
We haven't figured that one out yet, so we've been playing around with that. We've been trying to do some more crossover work.
Nice.
Trying to figure out some stuff there.
Idea.
Yeah. But a Buster Leo. So imagine a Leo actually with the Wing Gundam's Buster rifle.
How is he going to pull it off?
It's going to have to be beefed up.
Extremely.
Just to support that power. All right, so let's move on. Let's go ahead and get our final topic question.
All right.
Now, I kind of have one because we share some fandoms.
Fair enough.
One in particular has had some major changes lately.
Who?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That wasn't a question. That was a statement. So, I mean, obviously, the new season, without going into any spoiler territory, I assume you've been keeping up.
I've seen 2.
Okay, so you've seen the first 2.
Yeah.
You're on up to 4.
Yeah.
So, you're just in the first things. So first off, we'll start off with what are your thoughts on the new series so far, like as it is, because it is a major change. New showrunner, new cast, new doctor, new everything.
Okay. I like the show for what it is.
Okay.
I have a minor pick at the doctor.
Okay.
Her accent.
Okay.
I can understand it to a certain point, but there's some things that just kind of escape from me. I was like, wait, what did she say?
She does have a very different English accent.
Yeah.
I forget where she's from. But we've gone. I mean, we had a Scottish doctor.
Yeah.
So that was different. It's a very different accent from Capaldi.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Smith was more central, and then David Tennant was a Scottish person putting on an accent. But no, I agree with that. It's sometimes she's really hard to understand.
Yeah.
But and she talks just as fast as the doctor usually does. And it does cause problems. I agree with you there.
Like that would be my only pick at it.
My nitpicks for the season so far have been the writing.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
The first couple episodes are interesting because they got to do a lot of establishing stuff.
Yeah.
I like the new characters.
I do too.
The tie-in and everything like that. And this is so funny. So we're watching the premiere, right? And you know, the first day they showed it super early, so it's simultaneous premiere. And then they kept replaying it all day long. So we watched the first go, and then we watched it again. But in the first thing, you know, where they're starting off with Ryan and his family on the hill trying to ride the bike and stuff, she's watching, and she goes, "Wait, what? What?" She couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, "What? Why? What?" I was like, "Why can't he call him that?" And so, like, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, and she's like, "I don't understand why he's trying to ride a bike. He's clearly has some kind of problem." I missed the thing he had, the coordination thing. It's like clearly he's got a problem where he doesn't have the coordination to ride a bike. And then like the whole thing with the not wanting to call Graham, his grandpa, And she's like, what? I don't understand the problem. It's like, clearly, he's new to the scene. He's just married his grandpa. He doesn't accept him as his grandfather. Pay attention. I'm not looking away from the TV. Yeah. She's asking questions as we're going. I was like, how did you... She's like, where did you even pick up... It's like, you have to pay attention. Yeah. It's like, they're going fast. You got to learn about the characters as quick as you can. As quick as you can. And, like... Because they're going to be dropping little things at the beginning that are going to come back at the end of the season, because that's the way they always do. They always loop back to stuff you didn't catch the first go-around. And we've been going back through the Matt Smith era. Okay. Because she's never seen previous seasons. So she started with the brand new Doctor. Because I figured it's easier to start with a brand new Doctor that doesn't have direct tie-in. Yeah. So Capaldi was still dealing with things from the Matt Smith era. Yeah. Because he still had Clara and he had everything. Starting completely brand new with new everything with this new Doctor is so much easier to do. But I told her we could have gone all the way back and started with Eccleston, which is not that bad. No, it's what it is. That's my least favorite season, but it's also the first revival of it. But we were discussing the new Doctor Who, but also I've started her into the older seasons, going back to the Matt Smith era. Because he's the easiest to digest. Yeah. If you're a new Whovian, Matt Smith is so easy to get into. If you tried to jump in on Tennant without watching Eccleston, you kind of get lost. When you have leftovers, that's what I was just saying about the new Doctor. When you have leftovers, it's hard to pick up. Yeah. So you have to watch because Matt Smith was almost entirely brand new. There's very, very little continuity from the previous. So, except for whenever he's dying and he's like, he needed that interface and they start pulling up the old companions. Yeah. Great, that's what I needed, more guilt. And then it's all the way to Donna. More guilt. But that being said, the new Doctor is still new, still finding their feet for the most part. But where was your more favorite parts of the series?
Of the new Doctor?
No, just in general, yeah. Goofy girl.
I mean, I started with Tennant.
Tennant?
Yeah. That accent?
Yes. Well, what's really funny is he's the 10th Doctor. Yeah. Tennant. Oh, I will say this just real quick, because I've been rewatching it. There were so many things in Matt Smith's run where they kept referring to the 11th thing repeatedly. And it started to drive me nuts, because they didn't do that during the other series. They weren't referring to them. They're making a big deal out of him being the 11th Doctor. And they just kept doing it throughout the season.
Let's say. Okay, your question is simply, what's my favorite?
Yeah, because you have different eras, but it's been really good throughout the decades now.
I wouldn't necessarily say favorite Doctor per se, or
because even
season. Yeah, The Weeping Angels.
Okay. Yes.
Hands down, one of my favorites.
We just watched The Angels Take Manhattan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to bring this up real quick.
All right.
And then I'll let you get back to your point. There's something about the ability to binge watch now that negates emotional connection. And we just watched The Angels Take Manhattan, which I cry at every time. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there literally choking, trying to hold back tears. And I look over at her and she's just like,
that's fine.
I'm like, because if you've watched almost 4 years of content in 2 weeks, back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
You don't have the emotional waiting periods. And this is the thing. Guys, let us know if you have the same thing. Because, excuse me, we've been through it forever. It started back in 2005.
Yeah.
If you've been watching since 2005, you're used to the breaks. Mm-hmm. Especially where they were having problems. In like the Matt Smith era, the split seasons. The end of Tennant's run, where they went nearly an entire year for 4 episodes, spread out. I had to explain to her Christmas episodes and why they were important, even though we skipped the Matt Smith's second one because it had no tie into anything else. That was the one with the tree and wooden. That was a dumb one. I didn't like that one. Giant robot and the mom. Yeah, didn't care about that one. But the idea of binge watching, like, series that are built that way, like Marvel or a Netflix series, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they somehow developed a way to engage you enough in a short amount of time, knowing that you are watching this all at once.
All at once, thankfully, yeah.
But a series that is built to be a serialized thing over years, and like when they were doing split seasons. Because if you remember back in the day, Doctor Who started at Easter.
Yeah.
Took a long break, or ran the whole season, then took a break, and then came back for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, God knows when we're going to get it in the year. Because now they'll do it at the tail end of the year and build up to the Christmas episode instead of skipping anything. Or we get split seasons, like what happened in the middle of season 6.
Yeah.
When they had to split because we got new companions. Now we've started on the Clara era, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, and she's engaged by what's going on there because she has no clue what's coming. But rewatching it now, and sorry I interrupted your point, but catching things at the beginning, catching things at the beginning now that I didn't catch that come back later, and I'm like, holy shit! Because I always wondered. Okay, so in the Day of the Doctor, whenever he dies, so to speak, and Clara jumps into the rift of his body, or his when the Time Lord dies, she jumps in there and goes to every point of his timeline. And then he jumps in after her. When she gets lost before he finds her, she starts saying, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am. That goes back to when she first came in as a Dalek. And it goes back to her first episode as herself when she gets sucked into the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So they tie it all the way back to that. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't catch that the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, why is she saying, I don't know where I am? Because that's what it was.
Yeah.
And the Doctor had to come find her, just like he did before. And I was like, wow, I didn't catch that until watching it again. And I've seen all these things. It didn't click until now.
Huh. Now I have to watch that.
Yeah, so you got to go back and rewatch that now. It does take repeat viewings. Because... one thing, because when they don't go back and show you all the connective tissue like they sometimes do, that's when you don't catch the minor things. Like, at the end, when the Big Bang episode.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Doctor sacrifices himself and he goes backward through his time stream. And, he does that one thing in the Weeping Angels episode on the Crash of the Byzantium. And he goes and talks to Amy.
Okay.
I caught in the first time when they first did that. He leaves her there, sitting there by herself. She can't even open her eyes. And he comes back to talk to her. In that episode, this is not a continuity error. In the episode itself, you see that he's wearing the jacket as he's talking to her, but he's already taken the jacket off. It looks like... Because you only see his sleeve for a second when he reaches up to touch her. And then he gives her that speech about, you need to remember what I told you when you were 7. And it looked like a continuity error in the original episode, but then when they roll it all the way back and you find out it's actually him going back through the time stream, and it is a separate Doctor entirely, and they show it. Yes, he's wearing the jacket on his replay. Yeah. It's only on screen for like a second, but you can see the sleeve. That he's wearing the jacket. Yeah. And it's like, I caught that originally, and I didn't think anything of it, because you're not supposed to. Yeah. It's like, but they flat out show you that later. But then, I told her that, I was like, yeah, if you catch this rolling through and you realize that's not a mistake, which would have been a simple continuity error. Yeah. But going back to your Weeping Angels being the best. Now, do you mean, as a best villain you love them? Or just as a great villain? Or you love the episodes they're in?
The episodes they're in.
Well, that would make sense, obviously. I'm assuming Blink would be we've talked about Blink before. Yeah. That's actually what got her started. Really? Kind of. It was on the day before, or right before the new premiere. Okay. Blink was on. Ooh. Because they were showing Doctor Who all day. Yeah. And she didn't catch the whole thing. She only caught once they started watching the tape and doing the interactions. She had missed all the shit beforehand. Had no clue what was going on. She was confused when we got to the Angels episode later in the Matt Smith era, because she just wasn't making... She was thinking that... oh my god, I forgot the name. The hell's her name in that Blink episode? The chick. I forgot her name. And I'm gonna hate myself because you knew it until I said it.
Yeah.
But she was thinking that her and her boyfriend in the episode were Amy and Rory. She got confused. She was waiting for that to come up. And I'm like, baby, that was the Tennant years. That was not this. But also one of the episodes that the Doctor is almost not even involved in the story.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, almost not Lucy's not right.
No, it's not Lucy. It's not Rose.
God damn it.
It's not Amy.
Not Penny. No, Penny. It's the wrong. And because it was Nightingale and.
Now you have me thinking about it too.
I'm trying to remember because they had bird last names. Because her and her best friend, and it was her best friend's brother, is the one that she ends up with. And Nightingale is their last name, and her name is a different bird. But I can't remember it now. It'll come to us later when we're not.
It really will.
It'll come back to us later. God,
hey, it was this person.
Yeah, exactly. You'll text me. I'm like, yes! Not like we can look it up or anything. Actually, my favorite part about that episode is whenever she's talking to the young black cop.
Okay.
And then he gets sucked back.
Yeah.
And then she has to talk to him in his old form. And I love his line. Life is long and you are hot. But his original line was life is short and you are hot.
Yeah. Like I said, definitely Weeping Angels.
Actually, that episode was fun because they kept sending people to the past and she was re-interacting with them later. Oh, it's going to bug me now. Okay, but of the times that the Angels have been involved, Blink is number one, but after that, rank them just for fun. Because you've got Blink, you've got Crash at a Byzantium, Angels Take Manhattan.
Blink, Manhattan. Not Byzantium.
Yeah.
There was another one.
I'm trying to think of another one that is directly Angels related.
Well, there's another one.
They've been around in different things, so I can't think of one that was specifically Angels.
There's one.
Was there one in the Capaldi era?
Remember.
Because they weren't introduced until Tennant.
No, they weren't. Tennant.
Matt Smith for sure, twice.
Mm-hmm.
Did Capaldi get an Angels episode? They were in The Day of the Doctor, or The Time of the Doctor.
Time of the Doctor.
They were on Trinzler.
Yeah.
When they arrived,
yeah.
But it wasn't an Angels episode, technically speaking. They popped in and out.
Yeah.
They're definitely one of the more formidable opponents. That's not directly after the Doctor.
Yeah.
But I like the different ways we've learned about them and seen them do things. They're definitely one of Stephen Moffat's greatest inventions.
Yeah, oh yeah, hands down.
Because he came up with them. You should still recording. Yeah, we're good. Because that would suck.
Yeah.
That's happened. But this camera, I've got a huge memory card in. So.
But definitely Blink. Manhattan.
Yeah. Because you're right. It feels like there is a fourth Angels episode, but I really don't think there is.
I feel like there is. I just cannot remember.
I don't think there's one in Capaldi, but there wouldn't be another one after Smith.
No.
And there wasn't one with Clara.
That's a check.
They dealt with they did with the Daleks a lot more.
Uh-huh.
But I mean they dealt with a whole lot, honestly.
Well, we'll say Blink.
If we're going storylines, not necessarily seasons, but storylines, I'm going to say one of the best continuities, which is the hardest thing in the world to follow, is River Song's life and her relationship to the Doctor.
I like where you're going with this.
I mean, it's so ridiculously convoluted that even in universe, they can't keep it straight half the time.
Yeah.
And it's been affected a couple times throughout there's been a couple accidental changes. But that whole big reveal, like they were building to that. And for a character that they never intended to be what she became. She was going to be a one-off and that was it for the 2 episodes she started in, and then they were never going to follow through. But there was so much fan outcry that's when they brought her back for Crash of the Byzantium.
Mm-hmm.
And it just went from there. And then all of the tie-ins.
Yeah.
You know, spoilers, obviously, here, guys. If you haven't watched enough Doctor Who in your life.
I mean, if they're watching this, they should know.
You would think so. But we didn't go in with a specific topic for them to
true.
know. So, but yeah, no. I love the line when Amy realizes that she is the Doctor's mother-in-law. And she's like, I need a drink. That was the best.
Yeah.
But even to where her storyline technically ended, although they can always bring her back in. Now, could you imagine her interacting with the new Doctor? I don't think it could happen because she didn't know any other faces. Capaldi's was a surprise for her in that episode. And I love what they did with that episode with the Husbands of River song.
Yeah.
That was so good. And her take on how she thinks the Doctor feels about her. It's like she knows him better than anybody else. You know, she loves him enough to put the entire universe at risk just to give him a message. And the way she plays with time to get his attention is the funniest shit. I agree.
Yeah.
It's like, you graffitied the oldest cliff face in the universe just to get my attention. You didn't answer your phone. Yeah. And I'm sorry, Alex Kingston has been one of my favorite actresses forever. Since ER.
Okay.
She's so hot. And like, oh my god, I'm sorry. In the Impossible Astronaut.
Okay.
When she first shows up and she's in all denim. Oh my god. Oh my god. She got in shape for that series. Oh my god, man, she can fit into a pair of jeans.
You're not wrong. I completely agree.
She's hot is what I'm saying, guys, if you were missing this. Go look it up. If I didn't put it on the screen right here, go look it up. Because when she shoots the hat off his head, and then she's like, like, oh my god,
do it.
Just so hot. You gotta restrain yourself. You're like, oof. Okay, so
you asked me about Doctor Who.
Well, this is a discussion question now, so it goes back and forth.
Cool,
but if you got something,
you're a big Stargate fan.
Indeed.
I've seen only maybe one season in max.
Of SG-1?
SG-1.
Okay, I'm sorry. God, especially if it was the early years, I'm sorry.
And a lot of people tell me go back to it, watch it.
I'll loan you the DVD set. Cool. There's only one DVD missing out of it, which is annoying. And you have an entire series and one DVD's missing.
Yeah.
Technically, it's duplicated, but either way. Questions?
What made you get into it? Because I tried. I literally tried SG-1.
Yeah.
I gave it a good try. Give it a good 5-6 episodes.
Okay. As I said, the early seasons of SG-1 where they didn't have much of a budget and they were really doing what they could, yes, super hard to get into. Yeah. But it's all establishing character. And considering it was the longest running sci-fi series at the time, or at least unbroken, I should say. Doctor Who is technically the longest continuous story, just it had a 10-year break. I got into it because of the movie.
Okay.
Because I saw the Stargate movie back in the day. I don't remember if I saw it in theaters or not. But, no, I did. I did see it in theaters. And that one was out of the blue, you know. And I already love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. So it's Star something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm big Star Trek, big Star Wars fan.
One thing that the series has over the movie, for sure, is the actors.
Okay.
And the ability to grow the universe further. Because I think originally they were going to try for a movie series and it wasn't enough. And then a few years later, they brought up the series. I was a MacGyver fan.
Okay.
Richard Dean Anderson, being one of the main stars, was already the main seller. And his character is so fucking good. I mean, they really boiled him down by the end of Stargate Universe because he was more of a politician. Well, technically he was in charge of Stargate operations, but the characters were so well built over time. They didn't know what they were going to do with them at first, and then they're like anything, but then they just kept building on the characters. And then to have a continued universe later on with Stargate Atlantis, and then Stargate Universe, and old characters still in universe because it's the same amount of time. Old characters coming back to visit. As I said before, in my top 15 emotional moments, there's a couple Stargate episodes in there that count, and because they were character based. And Teal'c being one of my favorite characters ever, he's just so good by the end. Because he learned to be a lot more human. He learned to be a lot more of an Earthling, but he keeps on a lot of it. He's very Worf. He's very much the Worf character. So he's a fish out of water. He's adopted from another culture entirely, and trying to learn to do things our way. So he's a stranger to a lot of things. And then watching him try to interact with regular humans is funny. There was one time he had to go out on the streets and do whatever, and he had to pretend to be like either homeless or something along those lines to get to whoever they were after. And like a kid was asking him, or one dude was like talking about how he like got a tattoo and he's like so hardcore, and then he sees that he's got that gold coin on his forehead, and he's like, "Well, how'd you get that?" They cut open my skull and poured molten gold into it. It's like yeah, it was like that's what happened. That's how you got that to be the first prime of Anubis. It's just a very detailed world. I got into Babylon 5 too, which is much harder to get into nowadays. But back then, when you were kind of in between all the main series, is Star Trek was probably on a break. Kind of back then, that was between TNG and all the other ones. Actually, it never took a break back then. It just rolled from one series to the next, overlapping. But I liked all of the TV series that all had to do with any of that stuff. Okay. I mean, even Sequest, which was just Star Trek underwater, with a hint of Stargate in there. Yeah. And I don't know, I liked it. There's something unique about the series where it's not just space explorers, because they don't really have spaceships to get around. They have to use the Stargate. And then they really build out a world, like a universe. Literally, they build a universe in it. And, like, SG-1 is what it is. It was the originator. They had to go out from there, and it went for 11 damn seasons. And then Atlantis spun off while SG-1 was still going, so they had an overlap. They had a lot of overlap. Even the movies tied into what was going on in both. So they did, TV series movies. Most of which were okay. One was kind of the end of the series, or at the end of the series too. So it was resolving some of the shit they left hanging, like defeating the Ori and completely. So they had to do that. So that was their final villains. But it was also about not a lot of other series have elevated the human race in such a way. Star Trek, we're already a utopian society, just going out, and it's like nowadays, but in space. Yeah. Stargate, it started in the year we were in and progressed forward. You saw all the technology that we have. Almost nothing was super advanced until they started getting access to alien technology and upgrading their systems. Then you started to see, oh, hey, we're growing as a species. And then you see that we're brought in to be one of the... We become the fifth species meant to guard the universe, or galaxy in this case. So there were four original species, the most advanced people, that they all came together as a coalition to protect and watch over the galaxy. Humans were told by the Asgard, which was only one of the two left. They said, look, you have potential, but right now you're very, very limited and very small, because all you've seen so far is just your world. You haven't experienced enough. By the end, they become the fifth race, in charge of protecting the galaxy and further, because of the growth that they've had. So you actually get to see humanity evolve, mind you,
grow per se.
But mind you, with just the Stargate program, they weren't really advancing all of humanity, but just the people who were in the Stargate program, because it was still a secret. Like, that's the fucked up part. Like, everything they go through is all secret. the world almost never knows anything that is going on, except in one alternate timeline where the Stargate was made public in the past. So they started experiencing alien cultures and everything a lot earlier. We advanced technology and this, that, and the other. But I think what happened was we advanced too far and somebody messed with us and made the entire human race sterile so that we would all die.
Jeez.
Yeah. But they turn around and they figure out that what happened was an accident of time travel. So once they've determined how time travel is possible through the Stargate, they use it to their advantage. They fix the mistake and we never have to deal with that again. So when they start messing with time travel and stuff like that, it gets fun in Stargate.
I mainly ask because, like, my best friend, he's a big Stargate fan.
Yeah.
He would know everything you just said.
Yeah, yeah.
And he tried to get me into it, too.
It really, if you didn't watch it when, it's so hard because it is a 90s series.
Yeah.
That went through the 2000s, mind you. So, I mean, I think it started in 98 or 99 and went all the way to, like, 2010. That's just SG-1.
Yeah.
And then the others kept going. And by the way, Universe is by far the best.
Okay.
It's so good. So good and so short and leaves you on a fucking cliffhanger. And so many questions left unanswered because they didn't know if they were going to continue the series or not.
Huh.
And they put a built-in 2-year gap. That if they wanted to take a 2-year break, they could have. But it's so hard to get into by going back and watching the early stuff.
Okay.
And you don't necessarily need to watch like the first couple seasons. A lot does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But it starts getting better. And that's the hard part. It is hard to get invested. But like I said, that's where the growth comes in. You see them where they're just bumbling idiots falling through the gate and it becomes a planet of the week. It's what it is. I mean, they just find a new planet, they interact and whatever, but then they start doing overarching stories. Like the second movie, if I remember correctly, and the name is escaping me right now, because the Ark of Truth was the last movie. It wrapped up, finally, the Gold storyline. So, Ra from the movie is a Gold. So that's obviously the evil alien race. They have the system lords. They have the guys who, okay, this chunk of the galaxy is yours, this chunk is yours. They all rule their own way, of course, and they're all based off of different gods of our religion and stuff like that. It took until that movie, which I'm totally blanking on the name off the top of my head right now, they finally ended the Gold storyline. After like 13 fucking years, they finally ended that storyline. Because there was one left, and he was elusive. And they finally found his last clone. And
10 years.
Yeah. So you got to think about it. There's such an in-depth storyline. And because this particular character, they had dealt with on so many fucking occasions, they hated him with an absolute passion. Because he was such a dick. He would advance technologies and try to get, he'd take... Okay, so Anubis... Oh yeah, I said Anubis earlier for Teal. Yeah. He wasn't Anubis, he was... it'll come to me later. Anubis was the most advanced because he was a Gold who tried to ascend to be an ancient, basically. So which only the human race could do.
All right.
So only they could ascend to the next level of being, which is the ancients. So the ancients were the original human race that seeded the galaxy with everything. Like, they created everything.
Huh.
So, Anubis tries to ascend, almost does, but he gains knowledge because that's one of the steps. As you're on the way up, you gain ridiculous knowledge of everything. So he starts coming up with advanced technologies and this, that, and the other. Baal, or technically Baal, he takes some of that leftover technology, and because he's an asshole, and he knows that he's one of the last ones, he clones himself like several hundred times, and has himself out there doing whatever. So in this movie, they finally have his last clone. He is the last system lord, the last gold, period. The last person who was still trying to run things the old way and enslave people and this, that, and the other. And they finally get to execute his ass. And obviously that's not going to... Because time travel, it doesn't go that way. But, I mean, that's such long and in-depth storylines that take forever. And they keep, like, characters that go out and then they come back years later. Stuff like that. Or if you there's a couple seasons where Michael Shanks, who plays Daniel, is gone and he's replaced by another dude. That's because he was in disputes with the company.
Okay.
So they basically canned his ass until they could deal with him. And he was apparently being a huge prick behind the scenes as well. A lot of people really didn't like him. But he was gone for like 2 seasons, completely replaced his character, but they gave him an out. I won't ruin what the out was, but they gave him an out.
Yeah.
But that also allowed him to come back later. And then that same out actually became Evolve's storyline later. So even in the decorative way of firing somebody, they gave themselves more storyline to work with later. There's a whole lot of story, but it's hard to get into when it's that old. Atlantis might be a good place to start because it's significantly newer.
No.
And you don't have to have all of the previous knowledge to get there. There's a few episodes you could probably watch as a precursor, like the stuff that led up to the beginning of Atlantis, because they fed right into one series, and then they ran parallel to each other. And there's quite a bit of overlap back and forth, because people go back and forth between Atlantis and Earth.
Okay.
And then they'll do storylines on both sides that are tying in. So, and the movie did that. There was a movie tie-in there too. But universe, you need to have some precursor, at least from Atlantis, because it picked up after Atlantis.
Okay.
But Atlantis is easier to digest. Also have Jason Momoa. If you like Jason Momoa as a person. He's basically playing himself. So if you saw Justice League and you liked Aquaman, his character in Atlantis was essentially that same character. Ronan Dax, or Dex, technically. And then once he came in, he was such a badass. He came in the 2nd season. Atlantis is a little hard to swallow at first because, once again, development season, they have to flesh everything out. But once they do, it's good. But then it gets cut off short. They cut the season short, and they had to wrap it up in one storyline that didn't make any sense. If you think about the logistics of it, once you're there and you know the technology of the world of the universe, and you're just like, no, that's a whole lot of bullshit. It's like that they have a massive ass pool at the end of that. That they're like, oh hey, by the way, here's this thing we discovered a while back but didn't know how it would work. That's going to be the thing that's going to save our ass. So they put in one throwaway line to make the ass pool work. It's so bad. They didn't give that series enough credit, and then they cut Universe short, which was so good. Like, the CG was done... Actually, I think all of the movies... It was all done by the same production company that did Battlestar Galactica. The new one.
Okay.
So it's shot very similarly. The CG looks very similar. Like, the way they do things in space.
Yeah.
It was very similar. Way more human stories. Like, very focused on this tight crew. And then they have kind of Planet of the Week occasionally because they are exploring new parts of the universe. Literally. But then they start getting into the overarching story, and they start moving you forward through that, along with more human stories along the way. And then they cut it off without wrapping up anything. And you're like, you son of a bitch. Like, come on. They were done dirty. They were definitely done dirty. But there's the first 4 or 5 episodes, the first 6 episodes of Universe are so fucking good. Because it does all the world building for you in those first episodes. You know all the characters, you know what's going on, compelling storyline between all 5 or 6 of those. They're all linked directly together. So it's almost like a miniseries.
So you would say start off from Atlantis.
If you treat it like Doctor Who, you're almost never going to go back and watch stuff from the 50s. you're definitely going to pick off from 2005. If you watch Atlantis, you're going to gain a lot of knowledge of SG-1 because they have the crossover. They refer to a lot of things of what happened in SG-1, but you don't have to have all of the precursor knowledge of the 8 seasons that came before it. Because you can watch like the season of SG-1 that led up to them discovering Atlantis, because that's just how you get there. Okay. Literally, you don't need to, but you can. Although the Battle of Antarctica is probably worth watching, because once they actually, yes, that's the Anubis season, so you might want to watch that, because that's when they really got good. So after about season 4, things really started getting good, and then there's a dip around season 6, and then it all starts coming back up, and then mostly stays strong. It gets a little weak in the Ori seasons in the last couple of seasons, but you had to up the game because the gold were becoming less of a threat, so they had to have a new bad guy. Once they discover the Ori and discover how badass they are, and then also human technology's gotten... Once they started getting their own fucking spaceships, it got really cool. Got a lot of fun. No, there is a lot, but Atlantis deals with a whole new cast and crew, so you don't have to know all that. And then when somebody comes in, they're like, "Oh, hey, it's you from SG-1." So I would say start with Atlantis, and then definitely watch Universe. One, it's the shortest one, so it's easy to get into. Cool. I think it's only 25 episodes. Something like that. And the production quality is top notch because they knew they were doing something shorter. And you get a whole lot of exposition to lead you into it, so you don't have to keep up with the whole fucking world. But yeah, if you want to start with Atlantis, go with that for sure. And then if it interests you in watching SG-1 more, go back. So treat it like Doctor Who. Start with the later, easier to digest stuff that you don't have to have all the backstory. But yeah, those first seasons are so hard to watch. They really are.
So I give it a shot.
It's basically every episode. Every episode, they're either in the desert or they're in the woods. Yeah, that's pretty much what they do. They go back and forth. Although, what's really fun is they tie in a whole lot of the movie stuff. So they actually bring in the characters and situations from the movie. Actually, bring back one of the characters from the original movie to play his same. The same actor play the same character again later on because they continued Daniel's storyline, obviously, through the whole thing that's where it picked up. But the more they learn about the Stargate, the more fun it gets. Once they learn they can dial other galaxies, that's when it gets fun. And then when you go even beyond that, it gets more fun. It's like they just started coming up with new reasons for things to have existed in the first place. So then that becomes a whole new storyline. It's fun. Because there's 9 chevrons on the Stargate. They only ever use 7. So each gate address has only 7 symbols to get anywhere in the universe. So you need an origin point and then the 6 locating points to see where you're going. So there's 9 chevrons on there. So they're like, well, how the hell do we use the other chevrons? When they figure out how to use the 8th chevron, they have some interesting effects there. And then when they figure out the 9th chevron, which takes them a long while, and they just throw that out as exposition, then that's what leads into Universe. Like, minor spoiler, they have to destroy an entire planet to use the 9th chevron. Yeah, that's kind of a side effect of having to produce enough power to power the 9th chevron. Because they didn't know where it was going or what it was doing. They just knew it needed an incredible amount of power to activate it. So, destroy a planet. Yeah, it was a byproduct of what they needed. That's what happens when you have a very unique planet. And it has to be... Basically, the planet itself is what powering the Stargate. Just cause a chain reaction with the planet. It happens. It happens. Universe started out with a bang. It really, really did. Oh, what's really fun... the beginning of the first step, the pilot of Universe, gives you all the exposition that you need to know from SG-1 and a little bit of Atlantis through tapes from Daniel. Like, so to bring anyone new into Stargate Command, they did all these tapes that you would learn, like, how you start a job and they show you training tapes.
Yeah.
So they have Daniel do training tapes about everything you need to know about Stargate Command and how we got here, and it's literally exposition dumps, like small, like 30-second exposition dumps as the main character watch these training tapes, so to hold your hand through the first episode so you know what the hell's going on. So they actually you can watch Universe without having to watch Atlantis. I just suggested Atlantis because it was a new take, and they had a lot of fun with that series until the dipshits got in the way. Plus the Wraith are kind of cool as a bad guy.
Cool.
Life-sucking creatures.
Interesting.
They don't suck your blood. They don't suck your bodily juices. They suck years off your life. Very strange existential thing.
Really.
They literally age you to death with their touch.
Cool.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Either way. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've been at this for a while.
Yeah.
Plus, that technically was a 2-question finale there. So, of course, thank you for coming over and hanging out. It's always fun. I know I put you on the spot with this, but it's still been fun. And getting to know each other is always... That's why I like the first half, is just getting to know the other person.
It's definitely fun. It's definitely different from what we're used to. But yeah, dude. It was great.
Well, because normally you're over here to show off a kit.
Yeah. Or talk about something totally different.
Yeah, or just random build days, whatever. I wanted to do something non-Gundam related with my my Gundam friends.
That's fine.
And since we have a lot of crossover in our fandoms.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get into anime. You guys know a lot more animes than I do. So that could be a lot of fun. I tried to talk her into doing a couples nerdcast, but she didn't want to. She said, I don't want to be on camera. It's like, I'll just put it out as audio.
Yeah.
It's like, but no. It's like, because we go, but then again, she might be lost on a lot of these things. But she would have a newbie's perspective on a lot of things, like Doctor Who or the Marvel universes or anything like that. It's fun. That's one thing I love about her is I get to watch her learn all these things for the first time. But that also comes down to what I said earlier about binge watching.
Yeah.
So when we go through the Marvel series that are meant to be watched that way, it's fun to watch them, especially ones I've seen like Daredevil and Jessica Jones before we got together, and then Arrow and Flash and stuff like that. Watching her watch those and gain the appreciation for the characters and stuff. Doctor Who, it's been there, but we don't have the same. She doesn't have the same instilled decades of one. Now, do I feel guilty about jumping into Matt Smith without giving her everything beforehand and may have built up to it? Maybe. But we can always go back. She doesn't really seem to like Tenet that much. But
when you decide to do an anime one, definitely anime.
Well, for sure. I mean, like, that's the thing is, because it's a nerdcast, you can bring in your own topic. So that's the point of the second part. So the second question is whatever the hell you want to talk about from my point of view. So like you bring up animes or something like that I can do. It's not usually a back or forth. That's not really a theme. Or the final question is a topic question for both of us. So that's where we sit and bullshit about Doctor Who and stuff. So the first part is more like an interview. The last part is like a normal topical chat. So, by all means, that's not a problem. We can always come back and do those things. Or if I ever do a regular Nerdcast again and actually get a few people over to have discussions, for sure, there'll be an anime section. Actually, Dion was on another one we did, but it was so bad. It was so short and put together badly, I'd never even put it out. It was so bad. It was on best Gundam battles and things like that.
Ooh.
That was the main topic. But
interesting.
But there were supposed to be 2 other people that came on, and it was just me, him, and one other guy, and there wasn't enough to talk about.
Gotcha. So
that one got scrapped, sadly. Sorry about that. But guys, do they need to follow you on anything? You don't really put out anything.
I really don't. Yeah.
No, you don't even do Instagram or anything like that?
I do have one, but it's minimal.
Well, follow me to see any of his work that I post, because, of course, he's going to be back for Builder Showcase.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have a feeling you're going to be Builder of the Year this year.
You think so?
Dude, look at all the stuff that I've looked at from you this year. I mean, I've looked at more of your kits than anyone else.
Yeah.
And I have not done a Builder Showcase in a while. I need to get somebody else. I want Dougie back.
I do too.
I want Dougie back on the Builder Showcase because he's so
random.
He's random and good. Actually, I've never gone back and checked out his monstrosity. And actually, he's got so many other cool builds. But either way,
he's helping me with the
other thing.
Epion. And,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Because we've known each other for quite a while.
Yeah.
From actually Yu-Gi-Oh days when we used to play.
Yeah.
And I messaged him about the idea. He's like, "I'll help you out."
See, you need to get. Then I should just have you guys over one day for a Nerdcast, just in general. That'd be fun. Yeah, he didn't know what to, because he was the first person to ever come over for Builder Showcase. He had no idea what to expect, and it took him a while to loosen up. But once he did, and he was actually talking, he was comfortable. That's the hardest thing, and like, yeah, I'm used to being on camera. I'm used to doing these things. It's hard, but once you really get into the conversation, you forget the camera's even on, or the mic is even on.
Yeah, that's true.
So it makes it easier to get through. So, and actually, now that I think about it, I can have this two ways. So I've got my straight audio, so I could put audio out on its own, no problem, and then I have the video right there. Yay! I don't have to actually integrate both. Why is it? It's trying to autofocus, even though there's no autofocus to be done. Either way, always fun talking to you, buddy. Guys, make sure you do the like, subscribe, Patreon, t-shirts, all that. You don't have Double October t-shirts, sir.
I told you I ordered.
When?
It just happened like probably last week.
I haven't seen an order go through. Double check, because Chris had the same problem.
Okay.
His first order didn't go through.
Okay.
Because I have one sale in the last week, and that was from Joey.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Yeah, definitely check on that. Because Mitchell's wanting to get a shirt or two, but he just hasn't. He's a lazy bum.
Yeah.
And it's cold night. Get a hoodie.
I like hoodies.
Also, high profit margin for me. Nothing.
Shameless advertising?
Shameless advertising. Well, I got to. Well, Double October's over anyways. Maybe next year you can have something for Double October.
I would definitely like that.
That'd be fun. Oh, we do have MG Dynamics next year.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we've seen prototypes before that have never been produced.
Yeah.
But we don't need to get into another discussion. So, guys, we will catch you next time. Remember, of course, you don't have to be a nerd for everything. But clearly, everyone is a nerd for something. By the way, you can also buy that shirt. There is a Nerdcast shirt. Nobody has one. I don't even have one.
Shameless advertising.
It's my own advertising. I can do that. We'll see you guys later.